Ifioque also share and talk about his story, where we really had an interesting what do you call it? Laughter, the fact that the girlfriend had to, lend his laptop, her laptop to him to, start freelancing. Now, one of the things you might want to get out from all of this is that every single you can now see that every single speaker here have a different story, right? So the next speaker that's going to share her story, the mother of all witches. All right, Equitos, tell us about your story, how you started, and how you picked up. Even tell us how you picked up the digital witch name, which has actually helped you stand out. And tell us your story. How did you start? How did you stumble on freelancing? You have the floor.
Hi everyone. So my name is Ekwutosi, and let me go Ifioque. I'm from Enugu State. I'm from Nsukka, and I'm a graduate of English and Literary Studies, meaning, and I majored in literature, meaning I'm a literary student. So somehow I finished my NYC. I lost my dad a week. The same week I finished my NYC, and it was like, my life, turned upside down as the first child in eight family of eight, meaning I have seven siblings and I'm the first and I'm the only graduate. And you know what that means in a poor Igbo family? It simply means that unconsciously you have to assume the role of the provider because my mom was a stay-at-home mom, obviously. So, and then I've already gotten admission to go back to UNN for my master's, but I have to ask myself an honest question. If you go back to UNN, you can afford to train yourself, but your siblings, our last born as at the time was in nursery school. So, as poor people, they both plenty. You know what I mean? So I had to make that decision to work and support my siblings. And that was how my uni schoolmate invited me to Lagos. And the truth is, the person that actually invited me to Lagos, till today, I've not seen that person. The person left me stranded. But that is story for another day. Those of you following me on Facebook probably have heard that a million times, but that is story for another day. So I came to Lagos and the job, like I said, the person promised me a job. He ghosted me. Someone else took me in and I had to start looking for a job. And somehow somebody that already offered to hire me when I was still serving, and I told him that I'm not cut out for all this 9 to 5. I just want to go back to school. I had to be the one to now reach out and beg him to hire me. That now I'm in Lagos, and they offered me a job where they're paying me 65K, and out of the 55K, they gave me a house, and the agreement was that they're going to be taking some percentage from the 65K. So my take home was literally 24,700 at the end of the month. And, it was a real estate company. I was absolutely doing nothing in the office. I just go to work, sit, press my phone. I had no laptop. I think I just my phone, my Infinix phone. Then they had a smart TV. So for someone like me, I felt like I was too smart to work here. Like I felt like I needed a place where I could get involved, show my skills. But this office, nothing they happen. I have to really think outside the box to do something like, oh, let's get numbers, reach out to random people, tell them about properties. Apart from that, I just think of it. So one day I was watching a YouTube reality. I think it's one of Nigerian reality shows on the YouTube, and after that a particular episode, then one Indian guy channel start playing, and the guy was talking about cloud computing. And when I heard the word cloud computing, I was like, which one be cloud computing again? Like, I was, I had like core arts, humanities background. So this is my first time hearing anything that has to do with tech. And that was cloud computing. And I had to listen. After listening for like an hour, I didn't really understand what he was saying, but a part of me just felt like there's something interesting about what he's saying. So I had to subscribe to his channel. And when I get home, I will use my phone to go back to his channel to watch other videos. And that I come to work, I just go straight to a channel and I kept watching. I didn't have a laptop, so there was no need or I couldn't practice what I was listening or what I was learning. So I just listened. So at some point, working in the office became very, very overwhelming. Like I said, I don't do anything. I just come to work, sit. And I reached out to my classmate who works with Jobberman, and I told him, bro, see, make I not like give you one come out here. I need a job. I feel like I don't have a job. A lot of things is happening, and this place is becoming a bit toxic because I don't even know how to explain how I felt. And this guy that never responds to people's messages, fortunately for me that day, he responded and he was like, okay, there's this company coming to Nigeria and they are Microsoft partners and they are recruiting for them. You can send your CV. And because I also told him that I want something that has to do with tech. I don't just know, but I have this feeling that I will do well in tech. And he told me that they are also supporting cloud computing. It was, when immediately I heard the word cloud computing, it was as if God was preparing me for a time like that. And that was how he shortlisted me. I went to Elephant Building for the interview. And when I got there, I met more than 2,000 people. And for the first time in my life, I was okay. Normally I have audacity, but that day, I don't see audacity no reach. Because when I try to interact with people, most of them are coming from MTN, Glow, banks with 10 years experience, and a lot of them studied engineering, computer science. And this is just me, literature student. It was, I just told myself, as bad as it be, they go tell me no, or I go just, I won't do well because apparently Jobberman was just an agency. They are not the one recruiting. The both people that owns the company are there recruiting by themselves. So when they started the interview, they kept reducing our numbers from 2,000. They kept reducing us. We had like 5 stages of interview. And at the end, I made it to the end. And they said, okay, fine, they will get back to us. And finally, I think 2 weeks later, they got back to me and I was given the job. And when I, resumed, I told myself one honest truth. I told myself, me being here is probably by God's grace, but me remaining here, I have to work for my space. Because each time I want to interact with my colleagues, I already know that these people are way, way, way ahead of me. They are technical, they studied computer science, they studied engineering. Most of them have work experience, which I have never had. I'm just coming. This is like my main, I would just call it my first ever proper setup professional work experience. I don't count the real estate. So, but these people have been working with, banks, big banks. That's okay. So we started, Indian people came and trained us. And after the training, I told myself the honest truth. That's the only way for me to be to even measure up to my colleagues, I have to invest in personal learning experience. And that was how I started learning. As at this moment, I'm a programmer, I'm a DevOps engineer, I'm a lot of things. I can literally do a lot of things because I had to invest in learning. And because I had no trainer, I had no teacher, I was just all over the place. Anything that I feel like I can do, I just, get involved and I try to invest my time and also learn it well. I wasn't looking for a job, I wasn't applying for a job, but when you find yourself in a male dominated field and this hunger in you that you want to be competing with these guys, you just see yourself going the extra mile to learn. So after that, I worked for this company for like COVID. No, before during COVID, some of my colleagues started applying for remote job. That was when crossover was raining. Crossover, I don't know if you know about crossover. Crossover was raining. Almost all my colleagues were applying, including myself. I applied for crossover to the point that I can literally write their CCAT without even looking at the questions. Like I've crammed all the answers and everything. That's how to tell you how many times I've written the exam. So, and during COVID, Microsoft kept us in the hotel throughout the lockdown. We were locked down in all these Lagos big hotels, and that was my first time experiencing working from home. You wake up in the morning, you sit on your desk, you do your job, you go back and lie on your bed, you go downstairs. Like it was just. I told my colleagues, see, I'm not going back to the office after this experience. Nothing's taking me back to the office. I'm not going anywhere. And while we were still in that hotel, I wrote another crossover test and I passed everything, did their interview. So I was just counting when these guys will send me offer letter. I passed their interview because you see your stages. I passed the interview, passed all the stages. It was just offer pass. They just send you offer. And they told me, oh, at the moment, we are just going to keep you in our marketplace. If the role is open, we will hire you. And I started counting my days. But somehow, just few days to the end of the lockdown, they sent me an email that they have closed the role and maybe they will get back to me in the later. That shattered my heart. And somehow it was just few days to my birthday. And there's one thing I usually do a day to my birthday. I take leave. I like take like a week leave. So I took leave for my birthday, and my birthday eve, I told God, this my current company. I am tired. The place is becoming toxic, and in my team, I'm the best in my team. Apart from the fact that I started learning skills, I got to the point that everybody in the company know me. I'm always on their screen. I'm the best in in my own department, and I'm not seeing any growth pattern. Even if they want to increase your salary, they'll just increase it like maybe 2K, 3K. I say, which kind? It's an international company, but trust Nigeria, they have a way of hijacking things and making it look like the rest of us are being used to climb their own ladder, So we are just there. So now I told God that this company, I'm tired. I don't know how I want to live, but I want to live. And consider the fact that I'm the one taking care of my family, I have this fear of unknown. When you have something where they pay you small money, somehow you feel like if you leave this one, when you never get another one, it's going, a lot of things will choke you. And before then, I had this training that a friend of mine offered. And at the end of, I think it was about content writing. And at the end of the training, he offered us Fiverr as a bonus. Like he just, teach us how to, you know, use Fiverr, create gig on Fiverr as a bonus. So he helped me to create my Fiverr account. And after creating that, because I was writing a lot of Microsoft exams, I bought a dump from an Indian person on Fiverr. So after writing my exams, I said, okay, this dumps I bought with money. Me, if I can sell my dumps, since I bought it on Fiverr, I can still sell it on Fiverr. So, and the first time somebody ordered the dumps from me, that was $5. I was so excited. I told all my team members, my colleagues at work, that I've made my first dollar. It was, I didn't know if any of them reported, but then when I went for my birthday leave, I started getting emails from Fiverr. I need to verify my account. But I have verified my account like a year ago, 2 years ago. So I told them that I verified my account. They said I need to verify it again. I said, okay, I verified. And after verifying the account, I I started getting emails from my company. And when I resumed from my leave, the first email I got was a meeting, like, HR organized a meeting with me. And this is the first time HR they come, with all the top officials and my manager. And I reached out to my manager, see, I've been seeing a lot of meetings that HR have invited me, and because I'm on leave, they have been canceling these meetings. So waiting they happen, I beg just me. And I said, okay, now it's not expected to tell me this, but may just tell me that somebody reported I have a Fiverr account and Fiverr is prohibited in the company. Before then, I knew that Upwork is prohibited, everybody, because then Upwork is hiring for Microsoft and they are paying like 10 times what we were earning. So most of our colleagues are running to Upwork and they're hiring us directly as Microsoft partners. So they now stopped us having Upwork account. But Fiverr, wait to consign them at Fiverr. I said, okay, no problem. Tell them that I'm back. Let's have the meeting. So during the meeting, they started saying something about me having a Fiverr account. Somebody reported I have Fiverr account that against the company rules and regulation, blah, blah, blah. And I told them, okay, do you actually know what I'm doing on Fiverr? And they said, no. They don't even know what is Fiverr. So I have to start schooling them what Fiverr is all about. And at the end of the day, I told them that there is nowhere in the policy that stated that we are not allowed to have Fiverr. And the last time I checked, the problem we had was Upwork. But then if there is, I'm not aware and I'm sorry. Then I said, okay, fine, that can exist. That was during lockdown, during NSAS. That time the target is usually locked, with a lot of people. So I said, okay, no problem. And I told my colleagues that maybe I should just resign. These people, they'll sack you. Yeah, I know this time for me, anybody can't sack me. That let me just use my hand and resign. my colleagues were like, Equitos, nobody can sack you. Do you know who you are in this team? I said, no, there's nothing like who you are in this team. Or these people will sack you. Instead, they will hire somebody, they will pay lesser than what they are paying you. And they can sack. So my colleagues convinced me. I said that maybe highest, they will just give you query and, and that is that. I said, okay, no wahala, make I just wait. So my way home, when I got to the toll gate, because we need to trek to the toll gate before we can cross over to where we can see a bus. So I got to the toll gate and I got a call from my team leader, and he was like, Ekwi, where is your tag? My identity card, is this ID card we used to clock in and clock out. I said, I'm with my tag. Why are you asking? He was like, and I said, okay, I better calm down. Have they sacked me? He said, yes. And immediately he said yes. I said, thank God. It was as if this load lifted off my shoulder. I don't know how to explain the feeling, but even when I said thank God, the guy he was confused. He was like, Equitos, did you hear what I said? I said, yes. Like, he said they sacked me. I said, okay, why do you say that? I said, because I felt relief. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I just feel like I'm fine. And I asked him, can I come to work tomorrow to pack my, my shoes, my bags, all the things I have in my locker? I was like, okay, that he can even help me do one or two things. I said, okay, fine, thank you so much. That I will come tomorrow. And that was 15th of October, 2020. On the 15th, I went back, packed my things, did my final clearance, and I came back. If you have on my Facebook, you see today, I posted this morning that today makes it 5 years I started freelancing, meaning I left my job 15th of October 2020. And when I came back, for 2 days, I just wanted to rest. But, for someone that I'll be waking up 4:20 a.m. every day, going to work for 3 days, for 3 years, suddenly you sleep all day. I felt relaxed, but after like 3 days, it started dawning on me that at the end of the month, you are not getting salary. So small, the pressure they come inside. So that morning I was just sitting, or no, I was just praying, and somehow I heard that tiny voice. The voice said, you ask God to let you go out of the company. I told God specifically that you are tired and you want to leave the company. Now God have let you go. You didn't tell God how you want to leave, whether you want to be sacked or whether you want to leave alone, but you just told God you want to leave. So now ask God the same. If you know that thing you want, ask God again. And immediately I heard that tiny word, I changed my prayer point and I told God, I do not want to enter November jobless. I don't know how you're going to do it, but if you know how you answered the first prayer, I wanted to answer this one. I do not want to enter November jobless. And that was how I went on LinkedIn. That the next day morning, I went on LinkedIn in the morning, and the first post I saw on LinkedIn was someone that said, if you are hiring a manager and you have an open role in your company, you should post it on this comment that a lot of people, a lot of job applicants apply for jobs that have closed and they are not aware that it has been closed. That if you know you are actively hiring, post the job. I saw that post in the morning, but because I wasn't, I wasn't feeling myself, I went back to bed. Evening again, I opened my laptop, and the first post I saw again is still the same post. And something said, "Okay, what are you doing with your life?" And that was how I started opening the job links until I opened my first job, and I saw this job. I felt like I can actually do this, and I tried applying, and I got stuck. After I got getting started, I just dumped it to apply for that one. And in less than 2 minutes, somebody reached out to me on LinkedIn. I was like, "Hi, Ekwe, I noticed that I applied for this role and you did not complete the application. Are you interested in moving forward?" And I said, yes. And that was how me and Isabella got started. And at the end of the day, the interview were like 6 stages of interview, but I was allowed to pick my date. So each time they say, "Oh, Epi, we are impressed with your performance, we are moving to the next stage," they'll ask me to pick a date. Because I told God I do not want to enter November jobless, I'll just pick the next day. So for every single interview, I kept picking the next day until I had the last one with the CEO. And the CEO was really impressed with me. And I kept reminding God, I do not want to enter November jobless. And on Saturday, like today, the HR reached out to me. The company don't work on Saturday. The company do not work on Saturday, but just like when miracle happens, it doesn't make sense. So the HR called me on Saturday, told me they have decided to move forward with me, sent me my offer letter on Saturday, onboarded me on Saturday to resume on the first week of November. So that was how and when I saw my salary, even what I negotiated wasn't really what they are offering. They were offering me, like, my earning was like 10 times what my previous job was paying. And that was like my first full-time remote work experience. And I was with the company for almost 3 years. I think I was with them for like 2 years and before I left. And I was the first Black person in the company, the first African in the company, until I started introducing my friends, not just my friends. Before I left the company, we were like almost 20 Nigerians in the company. And when we went for summit, like, this company was my first international trip was sponsored by the company to, I think, Brazil. And when we got to Brazil, the CEO saw us, the Nigerian team. I was like, hi, you guys need to be grateful to Ekwutosi. Ekwutosi actually showed us way to Africa. Ekwutosi showed us that Africans can have more than just the talent. He said a lot of amazing stuff, and that was the highlight of my remote work journey. And at the moment, I can't say I'm looking for jobs, but I can say that I'm working with best of companies at the moment.
More.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Like, that was actually quite insightful. I'm so sure that most of us have gotten some real key points. You can actually look at her story. You can actually look at her story from 2020, just 5 years, and most of us actually gone through 5 years ago, right? Intentionality. She said she had to invest in learning. Most of us will just start learning stuff today, and then we've given up. We don't have the zeal. We've actually, start looking for the next big break instantly. It's an intentional journey. There is so much she has shared, and I'm so sure we are all listening to that and paying attention, because every of this story, they are not just basically to just share the story just for sharing's sake. They are sharing it to remind us of their journey. Ifioque has shared his own story, Adeline has shared her own story, and all of their stories are geared to really tell us one thing, that they started from somewhere, right? They started from somewhere, and every single thing you are going to do on this journey, you have to be intentional about that journey. You have to be intentional. This is not, you're not going to, you don't need to seek motivation. The motivation is from within. Because if you are looking for an outside motivation, at some point, you will be tired if you don't get those motivation. So the motivation comes from within. The desire to move on, you become uncomfortable at a particular stage and say, I want to do better, I want to grow, I want to. And then you also hear the fact, she said, the God factor, she had to pray. You can't take away God from this whole equation. We can't say, oh, you can do this journey alone without God. I'm so sorry. This might not be the place you're going to get that kind of conversation that tells you you can't do this thing without God, right? Here, we are very, very passionate and intentional about that fact that God is the key, the center, because at every single time, He's going to basically give us that breakthrough we're actually praying for. And I'm so praying that at the end of the day, one day, we'll all get to look back and share our own story and remember that that we had Him in mind, and we also had to pray and talk to Him and say, this is our heart desire. And He hears us. He cares about us so much, and He's going to do that for us. All right. Thank you so much, Ekwutosi, for really, really sharing your story. And we're going to have Emmanuel Ochai to come and share his own story, tell us his big break and all. He's a top-rated freelancer on Upwork, and top-rated freelancer not only on Upwork. He also shares some insights on Upwork. And Emmanuel, tell us your story. How did you get started and all?
Hi, Emmanuel. Namesake. Thank you so much. So, first things first, I am top-rated plus.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
There's a plus in front of it.
Sorry, sir. All
All
right.
right. Thank you so much for the introduction. I have heard a lot of things that the previous speakers mentioned, and honestly, I think it hits home because my story is very similar to a lot of them, right? In so many ways, right? So mine, for me, I believe that I got drawn into freelancing because of my personality and the opportunities that came as well, right? My personality, naturally, I'm a very curious person. I like to call myself an avid learner. If I if I see something new today, I get obsessed with it and I just like tumble myself into it's like a series of learning pattern and until I understand that concept to the very least, right? So that is one natural mm, attribute I've always had, and it has helped me throughout my career, right? So I major primarily in content writing, SEO to be specific, and website and blog content development, right? And that's the major part that I've been able to build my freelancing career, also primarily on Upwork, right? So I started Upwork a couple of years ago, but before I hopped on it, I also had should I say more other experiences elsewhere, right? And how I started, very funny, but what prompted me to start was actually my affinity towards learning, right? And utilizing the internet to achieve that. Because sorry, I'm just thinking back to it now, right? Um I saw
Sorry,
the internet as
Emmanuel, are you recording?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Sorry, Emma or Cha, sorry. Can
all right,
continue.
sure, no problem. Yeah, so I saw the internet as the place where I can get unlimited knowledge from, and that was one of the things that prompted me to move forward, right? So basically, I wanted to keep staying online, and I mean, you know what that means. It's going to cost something. I'm going to need data, and yeah, being a young guy, in my parents' house and all of that, it was all, how do I keep getting this data when I don't make money? Right. So that was what prompted me to learning one or two things here and there. It's funny, but it's true. I just needed to make money online, right? Because I'm also an introvert. I hate to leave my house. So I basically just got drawn into it, right? That was what prompted me to start at the very least. And while trying to run around here and there, I found a platform called Opera News Hub years ago. And I heard that, you get paid to write stuff, or the payment is based on your impression and how far the things you write actually go. Right. So I got very invested in the platform. You're allowed to only create one account, but we are Nigerians, so let's find a way around stuff. So I found a way to create 5 accounts, right?
Wow.
And on one account, you're only allowed you're only allowed to publish 5 articles a day. But because of the 5 accounts I had, I became a robot. I mean, I'm always at home. What am I doing with my time? I mean, I need this money. So I was spamming the platform with content. And to be honest, my content was trash. I'll be very honest. But but um but this was what helped me refine my skill over time, right? I was like turning in roughly say 20 to 20, let's say 15 to 20 articles daily, right? And the crazy thing is that maybe only one will get accepted because the platform had strict policies and all of that. So by the end of month, one would expect I'll be making lots of money from this my um, endless content, but I was working home with just roughly say 3 to 7,000 naira every month, right? It was poor, but I was achieving my targets. I was buying data. so, so I kept going. I kept going. The data kept me online, and from that I kept learning, getting more opportunities. It just kept happening, and where I got my B was actually two things actually. One, the fact that I invested in people when I could, and two was Upwork. Right. So after the whole Opera News Hub thing, I mean, I was able to gather experience, and that was when I got drawn into the world of content writing. So, um, so naturally, you could say I got better, right? It wasn't there yet, but I got better. And my after the whole Opera News Hub thing was like drawing off like my life force and all. Had a conversation with my cousin one time, and he wanted to, you know, invest in that talent that I was, building. And he was also earning a little on the side from content writing, but nothing serious. And he decided to extend an arm to me, right? So he invested in me in the sense that when he's getting these gigs, he was paying me a part of it. It was very low, but I loved it, right? I was getting zero point 0.4 naira per word around then. And yeah, I was able to earn more from my, how will I put it, from my work rates. I was able to earn more from my work rate. So it was better for me. My income, started hitting towards the 20,000, um, range. And I wasn't just able to buy data anymore. I was comfortably able to buy data, right? Like I was being online 24/7. So my growth and development was like skyrocketing at that point. And that my same cousin, right? We're having a very random conversation. Him and his mom came to our house, and this thing where the mothers will be on one side and be talking. I mean, we're all Nigerians. The mother will be on one side and be talking, and you can't interfere. So we, the young guys, will form our own coalition on the other side. So we were talking and then writing, and the conversation was never about Upwork, but he mentioned Upwork. It was like, there's this platform where people get jobs. It's called Upwork. It was just like, he just mentioned it in passing, but he registered somewhere in my subconscious because I'm a learner. You get, I love to learn stuff that seem interesting to me. And fast forward to a couple years later, I mean, our engagement ended. I went out there independently. I started, getting more gigs from other people. My earnings were increasing, gradually. 1 naira per word, 1.5 naira per word, 2 naira per word. It kept going. And I think another of my major turning points was when I was catching up with an old friend. Speaking about investing in people, when my career started picking up, I wasn't earning a lot, but I found a way to share these gigs with others, right? So I got across to my friends like, hey, look, this is how I'm making money. Let's collaborate. I'm getting this type of gigs, but I don't have much. I cannot do everything myself, and I think I have an affinity for finding these gigs, but I'm going to need help actually completing them. So that was how we started. One of my friends, two of my friends, three of my friends were basically a closed circle agency at that point, and it continued like that. But one of my friend had to leave. One of the team members had to leave because of life. Life happened. School. I've forgotten exactly what she needed to do. I think it was school. Yeah, I think it was school. She had exams, so she left. And after that, we like moved on. So she didn't exactly come back. But after a while, I reached out to her, like, how are you doing? Where are you now? What are you doing now? That kind of thing. I actually reached out to her for an opportunity. We had another contract that I felt she was a good match for. So I was like, hey, what's up? What's going on? So she told me that nah, she can't take it because she's now being engaged somewhere else. Okay, what's going on? There's this guy, according to her, like there's this guy that is trying to bring freelancers together in a say workspace where everybody learn their skill and then they learn about Upwork. Hold up, Upwork, the same Upwork. She was like, yes. I was like, put me on immediately. And she was like, oh, they've already started, they've already completed their training, and they were like 3 weeks into the Upwork training now. So it's like a closed door thing. You can't just get in. But since I know you, I know the kind of person you are, I'll put in a good word for you. We'll see where that leads. So I said, no problem.
You don't
I
know
was
that
very
person
confident. I was like, I was like, just get me to speak with this guy. That's all I need you to do. So she went out, and she later got back to me and was like, okay. So I spoke to him, and he seems interested in you, but he wants to meet you in person. No wahala. I'm very free. Give me day and time. He did. And I went there. I knew I was going in there to get an opportunity that I should not be getting because the door had been closed, right? And when I spoke with him, I told him about my experience. I convinced him that, hey, look, you're not taking me from ground zero like others because I've already done work on myself. So you just give me this opportunity because I just need to be around people where I can grow. I understand that you guys have already completed your classes. I will not draw the team back because if I commit to learning, I promise you I will catch up. And then the best he could do for me was that, okay, he cannot go and start from ground zero anymore, but he would give me a space for me to, come in and, do what I can for myself. And I was like, I'll take it. So, a couple, like after going there, I met them, everybody were learners, and I felt for the first time, I felt like in a community, right? It's not always in my house, finding money for data, finding money for other basic things. This time around, there's a community of other young people that want to do something for themselves. And that kind of rewired my mindset. I felt at home. It's like the most I've ever felt at home for practically all my life. That was when I knew that this is the life that chose me, right? And I committed to it. I started learning Upwork on my own. But the place now, there was stable data, there was stable electricity. So this kind of gave me the wings I needed to fly in terms of learning on my own, right? So self-taught myself Upwork. And as crazy as this sounds, I did a gig before any other person in that community, right? Because I already had this willingness to learn. I already had this craving to do something better. And I already had this deep interest in the platform because of just that simple word, that simple sentence that my cousin made years ago. He just said, there's this platform where these guys that are giving you gigs are getting the gigs from. It's called Upwork, nothing else. And everything just connected eventually. And from there, one client, two clients, three clients, and I was able to build my empire. And this goes without saying that the people I invested in are actually a major part of my journey. The people that I reached out to and was like, hey, look, here we go. Here's how I'm making money. Let's collaborate. Let's do this together. And since I am an avid learner, since I am always out there trying to learn stuff, I was also putting these people on the things I learned. I was also training them. And whenever they made mistakes, I was like shielding them. And, that was how I was able to build a team. And with that team, with that collaboration and everything, it got me really, really far. And just to point out how far it really got me was that okay, I broke so rather I have earned over $100,000 on Upwork, and I'm top rated plus on the platform, and actually broke that record this year. But at the same time, I was schooling. I was studying cybersecurity, and I graduated with a first class this year, right? And aside from my whole say natural affinity towards learning, let me say let me just put it out there that this wasn't just a me thing alone, right? The community I had earlier, the team I invested in that later gave back to me, they were able to hold down the fort while, say, I had to deal with school and all of that, right? So, yeah, I think that's my story, and those are like the major lessons that I can share in the short time I was given. But trust me, it's a long story of ups and downs, but
Well,
this
well,
is just me like summarizing it in as much as I could.
I need to get there. Like, damn. More. If you are not in this meeting, then you're missing a lot too, because everybody is talking what? Unfiltered. Unfiltered. Nobody's sharing anything here. Like, oh, okay, I'm using a script. Emmanuel, same namesake. Yeah. The truth of it is this. I also had the same drive. That same I can't be online with burning data without having making money on the internet. That was the same thing that drove me. Like it was the same. So when you shared it, it just speaks my mind. I'm like, yay. Because then I was actually selling food, right, with my mom. And I was always coming online on Facebook, writing so many things. I'm like, yo, why am I coming online without having making money on this internet? And that was when I started selling data, airtime, TV subscriptions, and the rest of it. Like you just reminded.
Yeah, I used to be a meme at some point. I was just shit posting on Facebook and wherever, but I was always online. But like you said, it was like this place is more than just sharing memes. It's more than just catching crews. I can actually do something better. And yeah, I was able to discover, let me say the depth of the internet, join communities, join meetings like these, meet amazing people. And several years down the line, it has to be one of the best decisions I ever made. No
Perfect.
regrets.
Perfect. Now, part of the things you've said that some of the points you made here, collaboration, investing in your learning again. And then you also said something about community. See, you can't, I don't know, you can't go far without a community, without like minds. And each of us are from, different community, or probably maybe you have joined or are yet to join a community. Please take it serious, right? And he said something about collaboration. He was able to collaborate with someone. I'm going to say this, right? In freelancing allows you to collaborate with someone. Let's say, for example, I know Emmanuel writes, and I know somebody else is good with what they call it, web development or stuff. I'm a web developer and I build solutions and all. And then somebody else is also a good marketer. You can form synergy. You can form synergy and say, let us do something, let us chase this money together. It's not always about you alone. If you invest in yourselves and say, let us build a team and chase this money together, there is no stopping. Because if one person gets a gig and you are like, oh, okay, let's collaborate and make this gig happen, if you're just helping each other grow, then this is not a place. I know that most of us are so familiar with running alone. Let me build my own stuff and I carry it myself on my head myself. No. In freelancing, one of the most powerful things you should bear in mind is that it allows collaboration. Collaboration is very, very key. Like you can't, trust me, you can't do away with it, right? Thank you so much, Manuel. Like, so many relatable stories here. Like, this is amazing. We're gonna go to Maureen. Maureen, are you here? Maureen, are you here?
Yes, I am.
All right, let's hear you. Share your story. Tell us how you started and all. Like, how do you start freelancing? How was your journey? Tell us.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. So, thank you so much, for having me. And it's been an awesome time. I've been listening, hearing stories that are really relatable, inspiring, motivating, and I just I just remember how I started out, and I believe that at the end of this program, this event, a lot of people will go, they will not just go inspired, they will not just go back inspired, they will go motivated and they'll put in some action. So thank you for making this a reality. Thank you for making this happen. And yeah, so my name is Maureen, and I know some of you may know or may not know me, but yeah, that's just me. And literally everywhere on social media. You can find me on Facebook. I always share my story because I believe that stories have a way of touching people. stories have a way of changing lives. Okay, so I love to share my stories on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on different platforms. And today I have another opportunity to talk about how I started freelancing. Now, I remember when I started freelancing, it wasn't what I really planned for my life. If you're a student, you can relate to what I want to say. When I started freelancing, I was a student. I was having an extra year in school, I was battling with school, my grades, I was dealing with depression. I was thinking of dropping out of school. So the whole issue started when I was served with I was wafted out of school because I had a low CGPA and I couldn't meet up with the standard CGPA. And at that moment, I just felt like my world was over. So in that whole problem, and I was just praying that God should, they've never really called back WAF students from UST, that's River State University. And that was the moment I started praying that God should do a miracle. And surprisingly, they called us back. And I then realized I had extra courses to follow up. I could miss IT. I just felt confused. I was studying microbiology in school. I didn't know where I was going. I knew that I loved biology, but I didn't really know if this was what I wanted to do. I didn't really know where I was going. But I just felt like just be in school, just study, just be doing something. That was where I started thinking what I could do, because I started looking at the fact that I was going to have an extra year and my mates were going to graduate. What was I going to do with my time, all those periods? Then I started having this conflict in my spirit, started reaching out to folks. Then one day like that, I went for a TED, a TEDx. It's not actually a TEDx, just like an event in school where people were talking about, they were inspiring people just like this kind of event. That was why I said, things like this will shape your life. So I went into this event in school hosted by somebody. And when I got in, people were talking about how they found their path. One guy sells ties, but the way he sells his tie, he sells ties. So people, boys, men, even young ladies buy ties from him. So he talks about how he started selling tie and how he started branding his tie, selling across different countries now. And he's a student like me. I was like, wow. He started talking how he felt bad when he came for an event and people were talking about how they started their own paths, and he felt like he didn't have anything to offer. That was me. I was there to thinking about how I was going to, how I was going to find out what I was doing. I needed to know what I could do beyond just studying microbiology. What can I do? What do I really have passion for? So during that event, I had a conversation with people, and then I got home. I started thinking on my own, started praying. I said, I need to figure out what I could do. So I started observing myself. Now, this is where I want you to really pay attention. If you're still finding it hard to, figure out where you are in life, what you can do effortlessly, this is what I started doing. Throughout that event, after I left, I started paying attention to myself. I tried to keep in touch with the people, the speakers of that event. I tried to take their numbers. But I just was more interested in what I could do. So I got home, started thinking. I was having extra year. I knew I had extra courses, but I knew the most important thing for me was to figure out what I could do, because once I go back to school, I know that I can't just go back to writing, just go back to pursuing my degree. I just want to have something I could do that could give me joy, because even then joy was lacking in my life. So when I got back, I started thinking. I started observing myself. One day I was in church. I just found myself writing a story, just, a very interesting story that even me myself, I got curious to know how the ending would look like. That was when it clicked that, wait, this is something I do effortlessly. It was as tiny as I couldn't have even noticed that I was good at writing. So when I noticed that, I decided to, I talked to there's this person, you might know him. He's a gospel minister. His name is GUC. So I had reached out to GUC and I talked to him. I said, I don't know what, I've been battling with depression. I don't know what I can do in my life, but I know I can write. I enjoy writing. And then GUC said, let the world know you for what you do. I should just keep posting what I can. I should just keep posting that write-up I do. I should write. So that very moment, after that conversation with him, the very next day, early morning, around 5, I started writing a story. And I just made them episodic. So I posted on my Facebook the first episode. And I noticed there's this joy in me, regardless I was having an extra year, regardless of the courses I was going to follow up. I just felt like, oh, I think I found something I love doing. And then I just posted that story, went to school. By the time I came back online, I noticed people were commenting, asking for the next episode. Like, oh my God, I want to know what happened. That was when I realized that, so there's something in my life that people can really find interesting. Because back in school, lecturers would be like, there's just one first class student so far. That does she have 2 heads? They just call the girl out. They're like, she's the only one currently on first class. You guys have to do this. And I felt like I'm not doing anything. I'm just basically seeing myself in the 3rd class grade, and I don't even know where I stand in life. But when I started posting on social media, people started noticing me. And then when I got to school, by the time I had gone far with the episodic story, people were now like, even in the class, people that they never noticed me, they never gave me attention because I was too introverted, too quiet. And they also viewed me as one kind of religious person. So everybody, I didn't have friends like that. So then they now started asking, Maureen, are you the one writing those stories, or you copy from somewhere? I'm like, I write the stories. People like, oh, she's the one writing the story. Oh, people started finding me interesting and started following me. That was how I went to a department in MedLab, and they started getting like, this girl, she's the writer. Oh, you're the writer. So I started writing. I started posting on different school platforms. Like, I can go to Unizik group and post the story, go to this group and post the story, and people were now sharing and finding me. I started going viral on. I say, when I enter school gates, people were like, she's the writer, or she's the one that writes that story. That was how I wrote that story. Followed the episode to the last. People were following me. And then I continued a new story. I just started getting, then one day I just asked myself, how can I make money from this thing? I just asked myself that question that day. And another trouble started. That was when I started getting a bit worried again. I said, I can't keep writing this thing without making money. I need to earn from this same thing. So I decided to reach out to one of the people that spoke in that event. That time I went for that event I told you about, when I started talking. So the guy now said to me that we need to meet in an eatery so he can explain to me, how I can start. Then there he started telling me, okay, since I can write now, I should, get into content writing. And then he told me about a WhatsApp group where they give content gigs. You write and then they pay you 1,000 naira for the work. And I was like, okay. And then, now this is where you start asking people. Once you figure out what you can do very well, you now start asking people around you, people you think can be of help, not just in the area of money, but in the area of, direction, if they can help you, point you to the right place. Now, I started tapping into my network, asking that my friend, and then he told me a platform where I could join. It was a WhatsApp group. And then I started getting the first gig they gave me to prove myself. I wrote the article, and then I got the feedback from the white man, and it was devastating. That weekend, I was down, I was weak, I was depressed because I couldn't handle criticism. He said the work was terrible, it was plagiarized, it was not well written. I felt very, very down. I didn't think I could do it. So I told myself, I don't think I can do this thing. And as though the person that owns that subgroup knew, she was the one outsourcing those content. So she knew I was battling with that. Even when she gave me another content to write, I refused to do it. I even told her not to pay me for. She said no, that I wrote it, that I went through all those stress. I said, no, you don't have to. I don't even feel proud of myself. Then she called me and spoke to me and told me that this is my first work, that I don't have to, feel this bad. I should be proud of my first attempt. And then she encouraged me to pick up and all of that. And that was what gave me, because I almost gave up at that one trial. So after that time, I kept on showing up. I kept on writing, and then they were paying me. So I was making at least up to 5K, writing 5 articles and all of that, until I started working again with another person. She had she was starting a brand, a writing agency then, and then she had me as assistant, and I was working with her writing blog content, and she was paying me to write those content. When over time, I think she also told me to take up courses. So I went to take course on Hops. I think is it Hops? No. I need to remember. I will tell you guys later. So I took a course, and after taking that course, I started thinking how I could, make more money. That I can't be writing 16 articles for 16,000 naira. I knew that I could make more. So how my mind now changed or got inspired was when one of my boss wrote on social media. I took a screenshot of that post. He said, if something can pay you 1,000 naira, it can pay you $1,000. The moment I saw that post, I took a screenshot. I just framed it and I said, nah, I have to be serious. If this thing can pay me 1,000 naira, I know I can make $1,000. And if these people can outsource this content to me, that means they're making more. That means I'm making more than what I am, what I am earning from them. So do you know what I now did? I now started thinking how to start my own. So I started doing solo writing. I started posting myself on social media. I use Canva, and I designed my flyer by myself. I didn't look for anybody to, give me the perfect design. I just take pictures with my phone, and then I put it on Canva, do my design, and post it on WhatsApp. I post it on Instagram. If you go to my Facebook page, you would see old flyers, or even if you go to my Instagram to the last, you might see sometimes I used to promote myself by myself. I started promoting myself, posting. I'm a content writer. I write blog posts. I write emails. I just started writing, even the things I know I can't do. I just started listing those things. I started writing all those things on social media. I kept posting, I kept writing, and then people started reaching out to me. When they, one thing about people, even if they don't need your service, right? What they do is they refer people to you. That is why you don't have to say, why do I have to have my family and friends on my Facebook? Why do I have to have them on my WhatsApp? Come on. Do you know that some of the gigs I've actually handled, even the high paying jobs, it's through people that don't even do my niche. They just refer me. So when I started posting those Canva flyers on my WhatsApp, people started reaching out to me, asking me, can I write articles? Can I write research work? Then I was not even niche. So I was literally writing everything. If it has to do with research work, if it has to do with script, if it has to do with anything, maybe even translation, where they give you content, they give you an audio, you have to translate it and write it word to word. I started doing that for a journalist. I started getting that engagement, and then I started going to fancy places to work, and I take pictures and promote my work again. I take fancy pictures, take pictures of food that I'm eating. When people start seeing this thing, because this is like a form of branding for me, then when I post those things, showing that I'm not, I'm good at what I'm doing and I'm actually excelling, people start perceiving me as someone that, this girl, she's doing very well. I would like to have her work for me. I would like to have her do something for me. They now want to associate with themselves with me. They want to affiliate themselves with me. So people started reaching out, asking me for my service. I started putting prices. Now, because I didn't know how to price myself. So I told you they were paying me 1,000 naira for one article then, right? So when I started my own, I started putting 3K for one article. And with time, I noticed that when people reach out again, I started increasing the price, increasing it a bit. till one day I told myself I need to work with a proper brand where I can, have experience, add it to my CV. Now, this is why it's important for you to intern. You might think you're good, but you'll be better when you start working with a brand that they have a proper structure. You will learn you will not just get better at yourself, you will also learn how to build your own brand, how to build your own startup, how to work with, with proper workflow, how to work with tools that you don't know how to work with. So I started reaching out to people that are on Facebook that are doing very well, that have brands. I mean, top people, CEOs of companies. I saw this particular man, and I felt like, this guy, I want to work with this person. This person has a brand. I've been following him up. Now, if you want to work with somebody, you need to follow them very well, closely. It's like stalking. So you have to stalk them online. If you want to work with them, you have to know what they do. You have to understand their brand voice. You have to understand their story, so that when you reach out to them, when you reach out to them, it's easy for them to flow, for them to understand that, okay, you buy their story, you understand their vision, and it's easy for them to hire you. So when I started following up this person, but I told you I'm already solo. I was doing my solo writing, right? Posting my pictures, sharing my experience, sharing my day to day. Sometimes I just say, oh, today I had to do this, I did that. Oh, I was able to onboard 2 clients, that kind of a thing. I was just posting those things and updates, and people were like finding it very, very interesting. And when I reached out to this person, I reached out to him on Facebook, and I told him I wanted to work with a brand, that I want to work as a content writer in the brand, in the company. And he looked me up on social media. Now, this is why you also need to work on your social media account. Don't say, oh, I don't want to be it's not about being popular. Now, when brands want to hire you now, they look at your social media accounts. It's very important for you to have a proper optimized social media account. It could be Facebook, it could be LinkedIn, it could be Instagram, it could be X, whatever, but let it be packed up with value. Let it be properly optimized with a proper headshot and cover photo that represents and highlights what you do and who you are. This way, people look up, when you reach out to them and they view your profile, they have a perception of who you are, and either they want to work with you, or they want to keep you in that space, in their space. Now, when I reached out to him, and over time we had a conversation, he left his phone number with me. I'm just like, wow, this man, this person is a CEO of doing very well, traveling the world, and left me his WhatsApp number. He must have felt like, oh, this girl she's a talent, So I got that number, reached out on WhatsApp, and within a short time, I was onboarded into the company. I started working as a writer, and I had a stable income, and I also had my freelance business by the side. Now, as I was working with them, I was learning. I started learning how to work with proper tools. I never knew about Trello. I never knew about Airtable. I never knew about Slack. I never knew how these tools work. I started, working with those tools. I started learning how to edit my content properly. Because we had an editor who was a badass editor. I started learning how to write a proper content, a blog content that could rank. I started learning how to build a startup, because we didn't just have one company, we had other subsidiaries. So I started learning how to, do all those things, how to communicate with communications, and the soft of all those soft skills and all of that. So I learned a lot while working there, and that is why it's good for you to intern. If you are starting out in the online space, do not for any reason skip internship. Try as much as possible to find a company that you can intern with. And it must not be a particular, it must not be, oh, maybe it's international company or Nigeria. No, there are many companies, whether internationally or locally. You can always find somewhere you can intern and learn. You're not just learning your skill or mastering your skill, you're also learning other things that will build you up and make you better. See, when I was working with this company, they were not paying me much. They were paying me then. They were paying me. Let me tell you, because I was a student and I also had my dad and I was taking care of my father too. So I knew that they placed me on a salary of about 20K that time, and I knew I also had my freelance business by the corner. So while I was writing for them, working for them, we write copies. We sell courses to people, and then I had to also create copies that help us sell, so in those moments, I started having, now usually when you start this online thing, you get a lot of discouragement from people, from your families, from your friends. People start saying things. It's not if you're interning, they're not paying you as much as people expect because it's a big company. People will start telling you, oh, this company they work for, they know they pay you well. Now wow, now this thing that they pay you, now wow. That kind of a thing. You have to now learn to know what you want. You have to really know what you want. You have to have goals. You have to tell yourself that, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to intern with this company for like a year, and after interning, this is what. See, I believe in the power of writing down things. Even the Bible tells you to write down this vision, make it, so now. So you know what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, learn to write what you want. So when I had my plans, I said I want to work with this company. And besides that, the company is a big company, it will boost my CV. I also want to get better at writing, and I also want to, I want to just learn a few things because I have an intention of building my own agency one day. So while I was working with them, I started getting discouragement from my people, from my family. And they started saying things like, oh, they are paying you this amount of money. When you start doing your own solopreneur and solo writing, you're making more than that. Why are you even working with them? Every day you're inside your room crafting, sweating. My sister was now roasting me, subtle roasting. And then I started, when she now started stop taking me seriously. Whenever I'm like, I'm working, you're like, that your work. When you tell them you're working, and probably when you start freelancing, you start getting things like, but like 6 months when you never hit your own, what do you call it? Your own gig or something, and you keep telling people you're working, you see how they will start taking you for a joke or something. So that was what I was getting when I was working with them. But I'm still like, working with the company for like months now. If you start your own fully, you make more money, stuff like that. But I knew I had my own goal, my own intention. So while working with them, I now started, I was building my own network too. I started making friends with people that are freelancers, that are into other niches. Now, this is why it's good for you to, network with people. Once you start freelancing, start networking, start meeting people into either in the same industry or niche or whatever. Just make friends, connect with them, get to know how they are making more money, how they are doing, what engage in conversations, ask questions, don't be shy. Highest they will tell you is no, or they will not want to even open up to you, or they want to gatekeep. But you need to be very, very open to asking questions, start networking with people. So I started making friends, and one time one of my friends was not telling me, then when I met her, she was making real money from writing. She was into health niche. She was writing for all these fitness brands, all these health and wellness brands, so as she was writing for them, she was making money. She was not working for any Nigerian company. In fact, she now made it clear to me that, Maureen, I don't work with Nigerians. And for some reasons, I began seeing reasons she was not working with Nigerians, because while I had my own experience with Nigerians, I had never shared it with people. Where I work with some Nigerians, I get blocked. When you see things like somebody wants to give you a job and you are really in need of that job, you want to do it, and when you're done, they will pay you. And then they just ghost you, they don't pay you. So I had my experiences, and I had times when I had to haggle price with Nigerian clients, and I'm like, hey God, now this thing I go to see for this thing. All those things. I was just going through all of those phases. And then now my friend made me realize that, okay, I had choices. Now, as a freelancer, you have a choice. You have a choice. a decision. You know what you want. So she made me realize I had a choice, and then it's in my hands. It's in your hands. What you want is in your hand. If you want to earn in pounds, it's in your hands. If you want to earn in dollars, it's in your hand. If you want to earn in naira, it's in your hands. Let it sink in your brain right now. So that was what I learned from having that conversation with her. And while I was doing that, I was still working with that company. They increased my salary because I remember I went to, talk about my salary. I told them that I need my salary to be increased because at some point I was 14 in my KPI. I was trying to, I don't understand this KPI. When they introduced KPI into the whole thing, and the company was becoming more structured than I met it, I was no longer comfortable. I was like, I don't understand this whole KPI thing. I've gone through school wahala. Now I want to come and be meeting up the KPI. I don't get this thing. I don't understand. So the whole KPI thing was adding to my anger and frustration. And then I asked them to increase my salary. They were like, oh, my KPI is not meeting up to standard. They cannot. So later they introduced the HR. That was where the whole matter now tired me. I say, oh, I'm still complaining of a KPI and I don't carry HR. Can't add to this whole thing. So having an HR was now making it more difficult. Even the tech guys were complaining that why they asking them to wear shoes to work, why they asking them to not wear to not dress how they want. People were now complaining, and basically I was beginning to see whether I should just resign from this job because my sister has given me more reasons to, but I've been posting it. So, however, I decided to extend my stay for some reasons. I wanted to see how it will go. So I told them I needed my salary to be, to be increased and all of that. And they saw reasons and they increased my salary to 50K. And I was now like, okay. They started deducting again for think of what they call that thing, insurance, think of tax, and I will now receive like 48K in my accounts. That thing will not trigger my anger. And when I now have a conversation with that my freelance friend that is making $1,000 in a month, and then she will now add to the pepper, now tell me that it's you that is wasting. Why are you still there? Why not just start freelancing? See, let me tell you the truth. People will tell you that you should, get into freelancing. Freelancing money, they sweet though. But I want you to know that sometimes it takes time when you start freelancing, when you leave your 9 to 5 job, whether it's a 9 to 5 remote job or 9 to 5 on-site job, just know that it's going to take time to land a role. And if it doesn't take time, just know that God just designed you to be a special person. Because seriously, when I decided to resign from the job, I felt like I needed more. I needed more. I knew I could get more. I knew I could make more. I also want you to know that you can make more right now. You can make more. No matter how much you're making right now in your freelance business, whether you're working with a team, you're working alone, you can make more. So while I was working, when I decided to resign, I had a few people, like 2 people or so, working with me. So most time when article come in, I just give it to the person to write on it, and I go looking for more clients. So my job was client acquisition. I was focused on getting clients, while the person working with me was focused on, getting the job done. So it's important for you to, when you get to a point in freelancing, do not do solo. Solo would not let you go fast. You might think you're going fast, but you can get better. You can make more. So even if you're making, let's say, I don't want to use dollar rates now. Let's say even if you're making 500K or 100K from your solo journey, you can make more than that. You can make more than that when you start working with people. You start having collaborating with writers. Now, I want you to know that, it's good to invest in talents. Find somebody, one person that is very good that you can work with. So they don't even need to know how much you're getting the gig. So let's say the gig is going to pay $200. They don't need to know. You just have to ask them how much they will take for writing the content or designing the content. You get, they just need to, you need to find out how much they would use to design the content or do the website or whatever. Then you now, have a negotiate with the person. The person now start doing it. Over time, you've given this person first project, second project. The next thing, the person starts seeing themselves as part of you. Then people can create a WhatsApp group or a Slack group and be there. You know, you guys are now two. Before you know, you're adding more persons. That then the work start going more faster because you're bringing more gigs. That's how you start an agency. It doesn't even need to be an agency. You don't even need to call it an agency, but that's how you start going faster, right? So as I started, I started I started to resign from that my job. I sent an email, and that email is still in my Gmail right now. So I sent an email. I said I wanted to, I wanted to resign. I want to start my own. Even the CEO reached out and was like, Maureen, are you really sure? You're one of the first people that started this company with us. And then I was getting emotional. My emotions were beginning to cloud my mindset, my judgment. Now, there's something I want you to also know. When you work with a company and you know that your goal is to intern for a while, don't let emotions stop you from achieving your goals. They will call you, oh, we are family, we're a family in this company, da. Trust me, you should know what you want for yourself. If you know there's time to move. Once it's time, your spirit is telling you it's time to move. Anything that drags you back, you will regret it like 2 years after or 3 years after. You would have told yourself, oh, I would have moved when I was supposed to move, but see, let me tell you, when it's time to move, what did I say? Move. Don't let your emotions get you. This whole we are family, we are a family, we are this, da. Forget it. It's just you getting emotional, getting sense. You're letting sentiments get into the picture. You have a goal, you have a vision, you have a plan for your life. So when I resigned, the next thing on my list was to get an apartment for myself. And I knew that having an apartment for myself was going to help me stay focused, do what I need to do, because staying with my family, I knew that getting a remote job, once I finally resign, I might get discouraged. My sister might start saying things like, why is it taking time and stuff. So I needed to be by myself to do my thing, to pursue my goal. So if you are in a condition where you can afford to stay alone, fine, do it. But if you cannot, just have a strong mind that against all odds, you will not let anybody pressure you. You will not let nobody pressure you. So I decided to, I decided to start, now there's a part I skipped. While I was working with that company, one time my friend reached out. That's why I was telling you about networking with fellow freelancers, right? Tell them what you do. Have friends in the freelance industry. Even if they are not in the same niche, let me tell you, even if you're a designer and your kind of designs are different, maybe you're doing luxury, all those kind of branding style, you have another person who's doing another kind of thing. Even if you're a virtual assistant and your virtual your assistant's work is for real estate brands, right? Another person is doing another thing for coaches, online coaches and stuff. Just try to have friends like that, converse with them. And now what happened was that my friend in the health industry reached out to me one day and asked me, Maureen, do you write B2B contents for SaaS? And I was like, not really, but I can find work samples to. She now said, okay, there's a job, they paid $600 for this one, and it's a long-term work. You will work with them for a very long time. And I was like, really? She said, yeah. So what I did was I went to I told you there was somebody I was working with when that she was building an agency. I was working with her. So I told her about the job and I needed this kind of samples. So she was very kind to help me with the work sample. Now, I want you to know this thing. She helped me with that work samples and I sent email to the CEO of the company and I was hired and then I was onboarded. Now I want to teach you something. I know that sometimes freelancers are very stingy and greedy, and it's not good. I don't want to preach greediness among us. We are one. Let's not do that. If you know that somebody needs a work sample to get something, to get an opportunity, and these people are good. Normally, this person is good. It's not just an ordinary person that just wants to use the work sample and get something. You know, somebody, when you see, let me say somebody is not into freelancing itself, they are not asking you to give them that work sample, and you feel like, no, you know that this person is a writer or is a designer, but they are not, this is not their industry, but they need that work sample to secure something, and you are in the position to help them. Please help them. Please help them. You might be the ticket to their next breakthrough, and they will never forget you for that moment. So when she helped me with those work samples, and I used them to secure that project, and then that job, I started working as a full-time writer. They paid me I was so excited. So I had my freelance writers in the house then. They were now working for me. They were handling that project. I was out also looking for, another. Now that salary I was paid was what motivated me into, okay, getting my own apartment, and getting this apartment was going to help me make more money. Remember, I believe that if I could make $600 from just writing for a brand, I could even make more. I started having a change of mindset. So what I did now was I decided to get an apartment. My apartment was messy. It was so messy that when you come into my house, you would not see the curtain holder was not complete. I was even in darkness that night when I moved in. It was my neighbor that came in. I was like, oh, you're new here, you don't have light. He went and subbed for me. I was up to I didn't have much money on me, but one thing I had was passion. I knew that I was going to change my story. So I started the next morning. I sat up in my, they brought, because I ordered the table and the chair, which was very important to me. So I sat on that table and started working, started reaching out to posting on LinkedIn. I was posting on LinkedIn back to back. Just out of one thing I know is that you see, consistency will pay. You don't know when, you don't know how, but it will pay. That is why they tell you to be consistent, because somehow, adding God to the equation, it just gets interesting the more. So I started posting on LinkedIn, and one day, one client reached out to me. I was like, are you a writer? Are you a freelancer? Are you open to freelancing? I was like, yes. He said, what's my rate? I shared my rate with him. And then we got into a project that led me into making about $1,200, because he moved the project to Upwork. And I'm not really an Upwork person, but because of now, this is another thing I want to mention. You don't have to be an Upwork person. You don't have to be a Fiverr person. You don't have to literally be everywhere. But the best thing you can do is having an account there, because your clients may just want to move the project to Upwork, so you don't miss out. Now, you don't also have to be on every you don't have to be really active on every social media handle. You on every social media platform. You can just have your presence there, so that anytime your clients or your prospect wants to move your conversation to another platform, you already have a presence there. So we moved. He just asked if I had Upwork. I said yes. We moved the project. Now, the reason I want you to have Upwork account for anyone who's just starting out is because people get deceived and get, scammed easily. Now, Upwork helps you to establish a proper payment, setting, and it's easy for you to, get your money. You're sure that this project is already live and they've paid. Do you get? That's why it's good for you. But if you want to do something outside Upwork or outside Fiverr or whatever platform that has a payment system, you're shooting yourself in. You're not sure. You don't know, except they onboard you to their Basecamp app. There's what we call Basecamp app. Basecamp allow you to work with a proper brand where they pay you, monthly or weekly, depending on the project style. So it's either they onboard you into their apps, this thing. But normally, and if normally, I'm going to say it again, normally, you're not sure, please move the project, suggest a proper platform to Upwork and all of that. So that was where this client paid me. He paid me $1,200 and left me a good review on Upwork. And now that's reminded me the statement I framed on my Facebook one time that my boss had posted. He said, if something can pay you 1,000 naira, it can pay you $1,000. And I just say yes, this one has happened. And then I said, this thing, I can make $10,000 from this same thing. And then I started pushing myself. I started looking for more opportunities. Do you know what happened? For the 1 year I was in my apartment, I started reaching out to more prospects, more people. Then one thing about me is that once I want to score a new client, I usually write and map out my strategies. I now start saying, okay, no problem. So what I did was I started, this was the end of I'm just going to round up. So I started reaching out to fellow freelancers, and, the people I had in that company I started working with, I started reaching out to white guys in the company, started reaching out to people that do, complementary services as mine. So I started reaching out, for example, if you're a writer, you're a copywriter who writes website content, right? Reach out to a fellow designer, a web designer who would easily recommend you for copies. So that is the kind of thing I started doing. I started reaching out to people like that, a backlink builder. Those backlink builders, they can't do without a content writer. So that was what I was doing. And then one of them now recommended me for a project, a job. I was hired. First, they only asked me for my LinkedIn profile and for two work samples. And then that month, the first week, I made $1,000. By week 4, I was making about because we were creating content for, in a week we're creating up to 15 contents. So I was making about 3.5 million naira from that company. Now, what I'm saying is that do not think that asking your fellow freelancer is not going to get you the opportunity. It's going to help you get an opportunity. So when I started working with these people and I started making that amount of money, and before I knew it, I already hit my first 10K. I said, wow, this thing is very much possible. It's very much possible if you ask questions. Sometimes the job will come from, it might not come from where you expect it. It might not come from Facebook, but it might come from somebody you ask a simple question. Somebody you just sent your work samples to, you show them your CV, and they will just have you in mind. So what I learned from it is that if you want to go far, you start asking people, start working with people. Now, look for people that do complement, that their service complements yours. If you're a designer, ask yourself, who should I reach out to? Who is the person that does something that complements my service? This way, it's easy for me to get to get faster gigs. So I'm a writer. I know that if I work with a web developer, he will give me he will recommend me to their clients for copies. If I work with a backlink builder, he's going to recommend me to their client. So that is what I started doing. Now, I'm going to summarize with this. The most important thing is for you to observe yourself. If you don't know where you are right now, you don't know what to do, just please try to observe what you love doing. Look at yourself. Just be observant in the next few weeks. Observe yourself. Now I'm going to summarize it. While making money, I've also made mistakes. And now I want to point out something, because I heard Ekwutosi saying things like she invested in different skills. Now, my mistake also was putting my money in places like crypto and forex, because they are not really my strengths. But I wish I had invested much in my skills, not just me learning a new skill or having upskilling, but basically learning other things that could help me get more clients. So if you go on LinkedIn or go on another platform, you see people teaching you how to get more clients, how to get more clients and stuff like that. Now, the best thing I'm going to tell you is that when you start making money, start investing in things that will make you more money. Like not investment, or not like investing in crypto or investing in this or stocks. No, I'm talking about skills that will help you get more clients, more international gigs and stuff like that. So there are people like that have mastered that art, that will teach you how to get more clients. Someone telling you that, okay, this thing is giving you 5 million naira, double on it, let it give you 10 million. Do you get what I'm saying? So that is what you should do. If you start making money from something, find more ways to make money from that thing. Okay? So I think I've come to the end of my section, and I want to say thank you for giving me the audience, and God bless you.
Oh, boy. Nah. Okay, this is okay. It was an introduction, but it's more like you started a master class. Oh, wow. Like, wow. Again, this is what freelancing unfiltered. There's no filtering here. Like, oh, that's one of the most powerful things you said again is if something can pay you 1,000 naira, that thing can definitely pay you $1,000. And there's no truer words than that. I remember when I started designing websites, I started with website. I was begging people to pay 30,000 naira to 50,000 naira. In fact, if I mention 50,000, I'll be scared, right? But in that same web development, I've made millions from it. That's one of the most important things. There's an ability for you to earn. And again, they keep mentioning what collaboration. They keep mentioning collaboration, referrals. See, you can never grow in freelancing with isolation. You cannot grow in isolation. You can't do that. This is not a place you want to do myself alone. This is a place that thrives with what? Collaboration and building synergy. I remember one of the things I mentioned in one of the classes I had recently, building portfolio for students. I told them, I said, make friends with people. You don't know who you can build a company with. You don't know who you can even collaborate and land the biggest gig in your life. See, let me go to Alfred because Alfred is that like, I'm so sure Alfred is gingered up and like, hey, Omo, I'm going to share my own story. And Alfred, please, you have the floor. Thank you so much, Maureen. Thank you so much. We'll have some questions we're going to answer. And then we're going to take up from there. And we're going to, after the questions and answer, we're going to wrap up. And there are so many questions people have dropped, so many questions people have asked. And we're going to read those questions. So each and every one of us is just going to spend, I'm going to time this one. I'm going to be looking at my time. 2 minutes to answer that question, right? Each and every one of us are going to answer, spend 2 minutes on that question so that we can move on to it, right? Thank you so much. Thank you so much, really. And yeah, Alfred, we're here for you.
Okay, yeah, good morning, guys. First, I have to thank Emmanuel for the wonderful opportunity. I think we have actually not had this level of conversation enough, and because we haven't had this level of conversation enough, it's quite difficult for us to identify the people we have built with, like on the call, hearing from the digital which everybody. Thank you for bringing your battalion, please. And
Yeah.
Maureen, Ifioque, and the whole rest of Emmanuel and Ifioque, Adeline, and every other person. Thank you, Emmanuel. This is quite amazing. Now, I want to say something before I jump to my story from what Maureen actually mentioned, which I think I wrote down. Yeah, a whole lot of you on the call feel that the reason why some people train other people, it's because they need money. Yeah, I remember some times ago when somebody said that if you were that busy, the person was actually responding to another person on a comment. She mentioned that if you were that busy making money, you wouldn't have time training other people how to make money. While I actually understand that a good numbers of people do not have, they're using training as a means of escaping some level of lacking. A good numbers of people are actually training people from the passion of their heart for ability for them to recreate themselves. So if you are able to see people that actually have shared this level of story and they want to train you for you to actually be better the way they are or even be better than them, please pay professional. Thank you. So back to my story. If I have a story, I think personally, my conversation is for if you are learning anything and you think that it's actually too late for you to switch your niche or for you to do anything, I think mine will actually interest you. Initially, I set out to be an Android developer. That
Oh.
was what I set out to do. I never saw myself as somebody that wants to be a digital marketer or to be a marketer or whatever that was. I set out to be an Android developer. So I've started Android development. I built apps, but the laptop I was using, that was 8 years ago. The laptop 8 or 9 years ago, the laptop I was using was 4 gig RAM. So now imagine somebody using 4 gig RAM to be battling with Android Studio. Please, I don't want you to imagine this conversation because it will crack your brain. I don't even want you to imagine it. People like Emmanuel or Ifioque that have actually tried web development will understand. I was using 4 gig RAM to battle Android Studio. So at some point, it was like family people who are really after me, which I believe it was family people, because if family people know they your matter, you know go fit attempt using 4 gig RAM to learn Android development. So I think family people really came for me. That was what gave me the motivation. But however, I was able to pivot, right? I pivot to when Mr. Hansen actually posted something about well, my mentor, my marketing mentor, Isaac. Isaac was coming to Akwa Ibom for a 1 week digital marketing masterclass, like we always frame it, right? So I thought, okay, fine. I had already been doing marketing in a small scale way, but I didn't understand what I was actually doing. So I had to register for the course, knowing fully well that my 4 gig RAM laptop will not be able to take me for my Android development journey. So I had to pivot, right? So that was what took me to marketing. So I registered for the 1 week. I think I have actually posted my picture when I started 8 years ago in marketing, and it's quite always funny when I share those pictures. I was quite small. I was like a miniature, like so I was quite small, but I registered for the course, and when I registered for the 1 week stuff, it was quite amazing. And a good numbers of people that actually registered, which I shared the table with, some of them were already in marketing. They actually understood what they were actually doing. So but something happened. I picked deep interest. When I returned back to the house, I keep learning about marketing. Like I read a whole lot of books. So I started buying books on marketing. I keep doing it. And after 1 week of the training, Mr. Hansen, I always commend him. He recommended me a company that was a travel agency company was looking forward to train their staff on marketing, how to market their brand. And this is somebody that just finished marketing 1 week masterclass that was in less than how many weeks. So Mr. Hassan recommended me. So Mr. Hassan recommended two of us, right? So after the recommendation, I went to, it was 3 days stuff. The money the agency actually paid was able to pay the training fee I paid for. That means
wow.
in less than 1 month, I was able to recoup my investment and also to be able to cater for some other stuff. So I went into the company, I trained the owner of the company, she was a woman, and she just came back from Ghana. And now ask Mr. Hansen, how long have these guys, like, I didn't know that we have so much good people in marketing in Akwa Ibom State. I say good people, how? This is somebody that just like me, like the way Mr. Hansen came back, and the woman even had to call me directly to thank us for the training. I said, whoa. So this is actually something I would like to do. And that was fun. So I started doing it. I started freelancing for small brands. I'll reach out to you. Okay, I will say, okay, I will manage your Facebook and the whole rest of the stuff. That ended at that level. I knew that that was not what I wanted to do. I knew that that was not the level of marketing I wanted to do. I wanted to be a face. I wanted to be a brand. I wanted to be somebody that people have to refer to when they talk about marketing and the whole rest of the stuff. And that was what got me into applying for a job, because I needed to have, just like what Maureen said, I needed to have a stable source of tracking my growth. I am a career-oriented person. I'm sorry about that. I'm a career-oriented person. So I knew that I need to streamline my process. And for me to be able to streamline my processes, I have to join a company that I actually have some of these processes in place. I took different job. My first job was actually 15,000. So imagine somebody being paid 50,000 outside to do marketing stuff. But I decided to short pay myself. I took a job of 15,000 in a month, which they actually did not pay me in 3 months. And funny enough, the company I took a job with, I was the one using my money to do marketing. I was fucking passionate, right? I did it because I was quite passionate about marketing. For me to be able to switch from fighting with Android Studio and coming back to do this, it was quite amazing and impressive. I got a job, I did different things. While COVID-19 was happening, I had a job during COVID-19. That was how smart and good I was. I had a job during COVID-19. I worked on the whole rest of the stuff. But since then, I knew that that is still the level of marketing at the framework I was doing, at the environment I was doing would not bring me the kind of money I want. So I had to pivot to being an SEO specialist. So if you're on the call and if you're actually trying to know how can you earn more money, the first way for you to earn more money, it's for you to be a specialist. It's for you to tell yourself that you are the master of this. Because if you're able to tell yourself that you're actually a master of this, it will force you for you to be able to sit down to actually be good at that thing. If you're a product manager, it's actually best time for you to say you are a SaaS product manager, because it will force you for you to learn to how to scale or build any product management stuff at a SaaS level. So I said, okay, fine. I had to do a whole lot of research, and I saw that SEO is where the most money in marketing comes from. I know I'm not talking about content. I mean the full stack SEO, where you deal with the links, you deal with the technical part, you deal with the whole stuff. It still took me back to programming. So at that time, I knew that for me to be the best person that they want in SEO, I have to be I have to go and watch Miami, HTML, CSS, understand what JavaScript and a bit of whatever other stuff is. And I pivoted to being just a specialized SEO person. So why every other person will be bringing me jobs on content, I'll now say, okay, fine, I will do content, but if actually you need anybody that actually fix your website, that do technical SEO for you, I am the best person to handle that. So I built my resume around SEO for quite a very long time. Now I knew that, okay, money is actually coming in SEO. It's time for me to freelance and train people. My first, and I now had to build a code of whatever that was. I started taking public speaking stuff. So whenever I go to event, I'll talk about SEO. I base on my major speaking event on SEO. And I started having people coming up to me to say, hey, Alfred, I want to train with you. So I never posted a flyer to say I want to train people, but people always come for me forward for them to be trained. Now that's what happens. Just like what Maureen said, that if something actually pays you 1,000 naira, that fucking thing can actually pay you $1,000. So my first marketing training was actually 15,000 naira. That because that was actually the first money I earned. So I moved from 15,000 to 50,000. People will also still complain. I moved from 50,000 to, was it 85? Now the first two people I had training on marketing for 85,000 asked me how much. I bought them in MiFi. Because imagine charging 80,000 in Nigeria and you still buy people MiFi because they were complaining of internet. And this is something I am passionate about. I don't want you to keep complaining about this stuff. So I bought a MiFi and gave to them for them to be able to learn, trying to get people to be better. So I did a physical training too. The other thing I did, I had to buy a mop. Just so whenever you think that you want to go somewhere, you have to start branding yourself like the place you are going. I bought tea, do everything as if I am doing masterclass. How much masterclass are they paying for me to be giving tea, giving the whole rest of the stuff? But that was still for less than 150,000 naira. I shifted the training fee from 150,000 to 300. And the very first person that paid was the very month I was leaving Nigeria. And that was something told me, okay, fine. So if when I said I'm training for 115,000, people still complain, but people still pay. I now say 300 and somebody actually complained and somebody actually paid, which I'm now the one rejecting. And I relocated to US and I said, okay, fine. I re-upgraded, scaled the entire stuff. And I said, okay, look, I'm not charging less than $2,800 for me to train people. And I had somebody come down to me and say, Alfred, please, I want to pay 1,200. Somebody actually accepted to pay and the person paid. And that's okay. There's something about it. So the essence of freelancing, for me to switch back to freelancing, please, if you are doing freelancing, you should be able to build a process. You should be able to see that this is beyond money. Yeah, I know all of us, we got into so many things for money, but a good numbers of people like myself, I would say I was quite excited coming into tech. It wasn't actually because of money, but now that the money is very central, I try to ensure that everything I do for my clients, everything I do for whoever I'm doing it for, I make the person happy. And when you do a good job, you'll be very excited. Like when you do a good job, when you, like I'm not kidding, right? When you do a good job, like there's this level of happiness you have inside you. It's like, thank you. It's like somebody is telling, it's like, okay, all of us, we are plus 18. It's like a woman touching your nipples when you do a good job. So, so that's how it looks like when you do a good job.
Yeah.
Now, I have done SEO. I have freelanced for people. When I was freelancing full time, I freelanced for people. People complain of paying 50,000 to do technical SEO, and that was crazy. And I now said, okay, fine. People complain for 500. That was still crazy. But just recently, I mean, the same Nigeria where we said that people actually don't pay. I charged somebody in Nigeria 5 million to do SEO, and the person still pays. So the conversation is that if you are able to, while you are building your service system, know the kinds of people which you are going for. While you are doing your freelancing, know, like, define your vision, your mission to your freelancing. The goal of my freelancing is to ensure that my clients are happier more than the way they came to me. And you have to define your service route. Like if you bring a job, even when I know how to build product with code, but I'll never take a coding product because I don't have that love. I don't have passion. I don't have love for me to. I am good at marketing, at technical SEO, whatever level of SEO, whatever kind of marketing. So I now say, okay, I'm not even doing all of those stuff. I am now positioning myself as helping founders to grow. And if you want to also be a founder, whether you're starting as you're freelancing, I'll help you to grow. Now, the conversation is not about money. The conversation is not about skill. The conversation is about your readiness. I say there's so much more than learning skill, and that thing is discipline. The discipline to stay forward. The discipline to be ready to be hungry when you know that there's somewhere you are going with your skill. Like Maureen mentioned that there's something Maureen mentioned. Yeah, Maureen mentioned that the only thing you have to think when you are rendering solution to people is for you to see yourself as an agency owner in future. You have to be able to build your SOP. how to do this better and the whole rest of the stuff. So if you are going into freelancing today, please go into freelancing with making your clients happy. Like when you make your clients happy, you have more clients. A good numbers of people are complaining that they don't have a job or they don't have people coming to them because when you do a job, you are just doing it. I hated freelancing. I even told Emmanuel about it. I hate freelancers so much because like you just go into the stuff to make money, which is actually a problem to me. Not that I don't like money, but I like money. But a good numbers of people see freelancing as a way to escape poverty. If you want to, if you want to see freelancing as a way to escape poverty, you will be drawn in poverty. You'll be so poverty will soak you. But if you see freelancing as a way for you to render solution, while you're rendering solution, please also be able to get into a structured company. Not because you are building a career out of it, but because you want to understand how to do that thing better so that you can also become your own Oga. Just like Ifioque. So you guys have actually heard of Ifioque's name all over. There was a time actually all over social media, you've heard about Lemonade, you've heard, okay, a digital which has paraded more than 1,000 witches to this call. So that's the kind of somebody you have to be. I'm sorry, guys, I'm not calling you witch. I'm calling you digital witch. So you have to build a structure that help you enhance your work processes. I did it. I knew where I'm going. I did computer engineering as my undergrad, but because I love marketing and I've devoted my time to marketing, I have to say, okay, I have to do MBA. And when I came into US, I said, okay, I'm doing my MBA in marketing because I want to channel my career towards this level of whatever I'm doing. So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to take your time, just like what Maureen and every other person, if you actually did that. I'm not gaslighting them. Thank you.
Oh my God, that was that was really, 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 really inspiring and also funny. Yeah. Thank you so much. There was something he said, right? Beyond offering services to clients, part of the things you might be also looking at is how you can make them happy. It's a two sharp-edged sword where as you're making them happy, they're also making yourself happy and paying you. They are in turn making you happy and getting and paying you for that, right? And then he said something, right? You have to be passionate, create some level of discipline around freelancing. And there is something else that he mentioned that I'm going to say here. When you work in a structured environment, man, you will realize the beauty of actually working for people who have figured out structure. And one of the things you can learn as a freelancer is you need to also learn how to put structure into whatever you're doing, right? Because number one, do not see freelancing as just as a way of offering services. It's also a business for you. I told my student recently, what I call it, I told my student recently about when we were working on building portfolio and all. See yourself as a person who is offering a service, and not just offering a service, you're also structuring yourself to be a service provider. And in structuring yourself, you are putting up systems that would help you. Because let me tell you, most of us are not seeing ourselves as people that are offering so much value to this client. You just say, oh, that's what hire me and pay me money. No, it's more than that, actually. The clients that are hiring you, sometimes they also they're studying you. They're also paying attention to know if you are somebody who is futuristic, who is looking at how to build a big brand out of whatever they are doing. You can build a brand out of this, and you can actually own your identity in whatever you are doing. And one of the things he said is you can actually pivot to any single thing. If you feel that you're on a particular track and that track is not leading you to where you want to be, or there is some form of limitation, it's not giving you the joy you desire, you might have to take a step back and then reflect, right? Reflect on what you can do and say, okay, what else can give me joy, right? What else can give me joy? How can I be able to start building on that? See, you can start something and then pivot at some point. One of the things you might get to learn in that is that you will see that you can stretch yourself. You can have, you will discover that you have so much strength. And when you pivot, you might even find that gold you are looking for. You might start out something, maybe you might start out as a VA, right? And in the process of you starting out as a VA, you might not discover that you have so much strength. You might discover that you can actually manage an event. You can actually do marketing. All of these things are an offshoot of something you start off with, and then you can either pivot to that and build something substantial from it. So you can do all of this in freelance, and that's one of the most beautiful things about this industry. It allows you to make mistakes. It allows you to grow. It allows you to become. It allows you to even pivot to something else entirely, because it might just start as a journey. Over time, it becomes a process. It becomes something that you will build systems, and then you might not sit down one day, build an agency and start hiring people. You guys go ahead and hunt for jobs, multinational jobs, and make so much money, and you are also impacting lives, right? Thank you so much for all of your stories. In fact, we intentionally started like, okay, let's share this story, and it should not set the tone of the whole conversation. And each and every one of us have shared inspiring stories, stories that are going to stick to us. It's not just going to inspire. Just like Maureen said something, and I'm also going to say this, do not just take away the motivation. Don't just say, oh, I'm inspired, I'm gingered. No. Go back in. Go back home. When we're done with this, sit back and soak everything in. If you need to pray about it, pray about every single thing and ask Holy Spirit to remind you some of the things, right? And then you can now start taking stock of your life and decide, okay, what do you want to do? Are you just going to see this? What are the things I just want to do by the side, like, just do it for doing sake, or something you can actually build a life out of it? Trust me, you can make a living, you can make a life, you can get your purpose, you can do anything out from freelancing, right? And I just recently discovered that one of my big purposes now is to be able to help freelancers. And that's why we started this freelancing conversation, to help freelancers become better. One of my keyword is I want to make people to become better versions of themselves, right? And that is one of the reasons why I started this Freelancer 360. We're looking at the holistic lifestyle of a freelancer. I'm not teaching you how to go and be a virtual assistant. I'm not doing that. And we're not teaching you all of this. We're teaching you how to build character, to also have integrity. If a client trusts you to do something, they're giving a what I call it, that they're giving you something very powerful. Do not jeopardize it. Do not mess it up. If somebody refers you to go and do a job, you have a responsibility to carry that referral in your head and make sure that you deliver. Somebody refers you does not mean that, oh, they not refer you, go and do anyhow. And you spoil their name. Once you spoil their name, you spoil a door. And if that door was supposed to lead you to the 100 million, you have closed it. And these same people might also have people within the circle that can help you. But because you've closed that door, you've destroyed something, and you'll be in a circle running around and seeking for help, and there is not going to be help. So when people refer you, take it seriously. Carry it like as a burden. Deliver. Because when you deliver and they are happy, guess what happens? They refer you to somebody else. Most of my jobs, I'm not really getting jobs on Upwork, but most of my jobs are from referrals. People referring me to people, and that is how I've made money from it. So that's the same thing I'm telling you now. Take referral as one of the most powerful things, and don't mess it up. If somebody puts their name behind you and say, I trust you, you can do it, do not play with it. Do not joke with it. Do not go and say, nah, them sabi, or let me just do anything, I will do anything. Don't try it, because you don't know the door they will open for you. and you don't know the door it is going to, you don't know the place it's going to take you to. I've been able to stand before different caliber of people. I've gone to different meetings. I'm in a board of a particular company in Texas because somebody referred me. Even when the person is not even longer working for the company, I'm still there. And I've been there for years. Most people have come in and gone. I've been there, offering my value. So you want to make sure that when somebody refers you, don't joke, don't mess it up. Don't mess it up. Don't even try it because you don't know what you are going to be missing. Okay, so we have a couple of questions that some of our audience have asked. So I'm gonna be sharing those questions. So this is what we're going to do. We're supposed to finish up like in about 30 minutes, right? From now to 30 minutes, because of all the whole movement from here to here and all. Part of what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read some questions. Each of us, please, I'm just going to be using time, two minutes, right? We're going to spend two minutes to answer those questions and share something that can help this person. The reason why I want each of us to share is so that we can have different perspectives and then have a conclusion, right? So yeah, thank you so much. And I'm going to be talking about this question. Thank you, Alfred, really. That was insightful. I'm going to be sharing this question. We have a question here, right? We have a question here. The question says, what's the most realistic path to start freelancing from scratch? What is the most realistic path to start freelancing from scratch? I'm going to start from Adeline. In 2 minutes, what is the most realistic path to start freelancing? What is the most realistic path to start freelancing? Adeline, are you here? Adeline, is she there? Hi, Adeline, are you here?
Me?
Okay, I can hear you now. So the question is, what is the most realistic path to start freelancing from
The
scratch?
question coming to me.
You said?
Okay. I said I didn't see the question coming to me.
Yeah,
but it's fine. Yeah, I didn't know I will still speak first again, so it's okay. All right. So the question says, what's the most realistic? Please come again. What's the most realistic path to freelancing? Am I correct?
To start freelancing from scratch. Like, what is that most realistic thing in 2 minutes? I'm putting on my timer.
Okay. There is no one method to it. If you had listened to all the speakers, you see that our paths were all different, but I will speak from my own perspective, from my own aspect. The most realistic path to beginning freelancing is actually research. You will sit down, you would go online, you would check platforms, you will join groups, you attend conferences like this one, and then you get to listen to people. You research, you ask questions, you will hear things that you are interested in. You will ask questions. You can ask ChatGPT, you can ask Google, you can start from there if you have nowhere. You can go to YouTube and ask questions, get the skills. Then you now think of creating your professional profiles. Before you create your professional profiles, make sure that the skills you've gotten, you have practiced them, like you have done pilot projects. Because I noticed that the hindrance to a lot of people who are beginning freelancing is the fact that they don't have what to show. We're all in the freelancing world, and you can see that nobody asks you for your degree. In fact, I don't know, they might ask for more structured, more bigger companies, but in fact, all my years working freelancing, nobody has asked me for my degree. So what they ask me for is my portfolio. What is your portfolio? A visual collection of your best work. So you just need to learn, research, find what interests you, learn a lot about it, execute projects, go to places like Upwork and LinkedIn, find jobs that are in that area, try to do it yourself. Then what you have done, take screenshots, create a portfolio, and then sample it. You can use Canva to create a portfolio. Even Mr. Bountiful Hand used to offer portfolio creation classes. So you can just, follow him on socials. You learn how to do that, and then create your professional profiles, optimize them. There's nothing wrong in seeking for help to optimize your profiles. You do that, and trust me, the sky is going to, be your starting point. Thank you.
You are on time. You're on time. That's great. Thank you so much.
Sorry, Mr. Emmanuel, somebody asked me a question in the chat. They're asking me what my niche is. My niche is digital project management, anything that involves building processes for businesses. That's my niche. So thank you.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So the next person, Ifioque, what's the most realistic part to start freelancing? Let's go. Ifioque, are you here?
Yes, I am. You said the most realistic way to start freelancing?
Yes, from scratch.
Okay, so I think from my end, I strongly. By the way, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I strongly recommend picking out. We talked about this while we were, while people were joining. I strongly recommend picking out an area of specialization or a niche, as people call it, from your existing abilities, from your existing stack of skills or interests. Why? Because freelancing can be difficult. It can be very difficult in fact, even for people who have picked something they absolutely love, it can be very difficult as well. So, picking a niche that you absolutely love, what do they call this thing? I'm looking for. There's a word I'm looking for. Picking an industry or a skill set that you already have or at the slightest love would make your freelancing journey so much better and quicker, because you'll have not so much to learn. And if you have so much to learn, you like the process. You understand what I mean? I say this because my bad. I say this because for the most part, if you hear freelancers talk about the difficulty, the frustration, not being able to land jobs, they've been applying for jobs on LinkedIn, on Upwork, on some other jobbing platforms, and they can't land a job. Of course, very soon they start to get frustrated. If you pay attention, you'd figure out that a lot of these people, there's this thing happening.
Sorry. Continue, but just wrap up. Your time is up.
Sure. So yeah, I think basically pick something that aligns with your skill area, with your stack of interests, and your journey will be so much smoother and quicker, basically.
All right, thank you so much. Lemonade. What do you think is the fastest way to get started in freelancing? Like, if you're starting, the most realistic path to start freelancing from scratch. You go.
Well, like I usually tell people, first of all, you need skills, because freelancing is just like you own a business and your skills are your products that you're selling to these clients. So if you don't have any skills, then we shouldn't be talking about freelancing. You need skills, then you go out there, you offer those skills. If you have an existing skills, then you can leverage on your existing skills. And even if you have existing skills and you are still finding it difficult, you need a community. There's this thing that community does to people that I have witnessed. I see a lot of people, Ekwutosi, I've been on Upwork for 4 years. I don't know what I'm doing on Upwork until I join Digital Reach, or until I meet this person, or until I watch what this person is doing. And that is that. And another thing I forgot to add is that sometimes learning these skills doesn't mean you are changing what you're already doing. There's something I advise our students. If you're a lawyer, learning skills doesn't stop you from practicing law as a freelancer. In my company, we have like 3 persons who are our legal representative, and they are all working remotely. So as a lawyer, you can still, at the end of your training, you can still become a paralegal VA. If you are a medical doctor, a nurse, you can still work in a telehealth company and things like that. So first thing first is you acquiring skills, and when you are done acquiring skills, then you can now go ahead and start exploring opportunities. Because if you don't have skills, the truth is that you are going to suffer, you'll be frustrated, and even when you realize that you need these skills, or when you finally have these skills, the zeal and the hunger will no longer be there. So first thing, skills. Then that is that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that was almost time up, right? Thank you so much. Maureen, Ochai, my man. Oh yeah, let's go. What's the most realistic part to start freelancing from scratch?
All right. Thank you so much for the question. Before I go on, just a little disclaimer. Personally, I'm going to be biased with Upwork because that's where I have majority of my experience from. I have other experience, but since we have other speakers that will speak on it to save time, I will be more biased towards Upwork. So, like Ekwe rightly said, you need a skill, very, very important. And it has to be a digital skill. It has to be something, not has to be, but we're in the digital phase. So if you want to go that route, it should be a digital skill that can be offered and you can be paid for it. That's the first step. Then secondly, if you're just starting out, absolute beginner, I would always advise you go on YouTube, learn that skill or learn what that skill encompasses properly before you go for paid services. By paid services, you can look into Coursera, you can look into Udemy, you can find tutors like Mr. Alfred and Miss Lemonade, and that's how you do it. And then you build your portfolio. Very, very important, because these days clients don't give a shit about who you are; they give a shit about what you can do, right? So you build a portfolio, take on mini projects, take on, if possible, say lesser gigs to help you build up portfolio and start a momentum. And then you join communities, and then you now start hearing the motivational speakers, discipline, consistency, hard work. Very important, by the way. Very, very important. And then collaborate. So that will be my own personal timeline. And sorry, I missed something out. You start out with when you want to offer your services, you start out with freer alternatives like say offering services to people around you, getting gigs from your family, friends, the neighborhood, and all of that. And then when you have some money, hop onto platforms like Upwork, which is not very beginner friendly as you need some money to buy connects. But yeah.
I'm up. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Maureen. Maureen, are you there?
Yes, sorry.
Okay, so what's your take? What's the fastest or more realistic path to starting freelancing from scratch?
Okay. For me, I think because for people, the kind of DMs I get, people want to just get into freelancing. They want to, they just want to get into freelancing. They don't have a clear path. They don't know what to do. So the first thing I would tell my younger self is to figure out what I really want to do, what I really like doing. So if you feel like you're lost, you don't know where what to start with, first of all, observe yourself, find out what you find interesting, like what you enjoy doing, observe yourself, like, did you like watching tech videos? Do you enjoy visuals, beautiful visuals? Do you like, writing? Do you like reviewing something? When a movie drops, you like to talk about movies, do you like things like that? Are you good at, giving people health related tips and stuff? So these are the things that should give you a cue to what you can do and how to start. So when you're able to figure out one thing, trust me, everything will fall in place. You will now know what to do as you go on. So that's my take. At least with everything we've said so far, just carry everything like this and go and blow.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. Alfred. Alfred, are you there? You're muted.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please restart my time before you start counting for me. So I think my my colleagues have actually said a whole lot of stuff, which is actually true. Now, if what's the proper way? There's actually no proper way because wherever way, which way where you go, so far say they lead you to where you they go. That's actually the best route for you. But if I have to start freelancing or to actually start whatever I want to do for money, skill, growth, and the whole rest of the stuff, the number one thing I would do is to audit myself. Audit myself, having the kind of skills I want to learn or the kind of skill I already have, my career projection or my freelancing goal or the whole rest of the stuff. I'll audit myself. I'll audit the entire stack of what I have within me. And the other thing I normally ask people to do, which I will implement into whatever it's to conduct a SWOT analysis for yourself. A good numbers of people think that SWOT analysis is just for companies. SWOT means strength, weakness, threat, for opportunity and threat. A good numbers of people think that SWOT analysis is just for organization. That's false. SWOT analysis can also be for you. So as Alfred, I will get to know my strength. I will get to know my weakness. I'll get to know the opportunities that lies where I am going, and I also know my threat. Who are my threat in the industry, and your threat could actually be the people you want to learn from, not normally your threat. And the other thing is for you to choose your price points. I am a sucker for, I am a high ticket person. Know how much do you want to charge for your skill? How much can you go down low for? Know how much you want to go down low for, and choose your platform, choose where you want to be, because you cannot be on Upwork today, you'll be on Instagram tomorrow, you are on LinkedIn yesterday. A scattered journey is unrefined journey. So you have to, Emmanuel, stop that.
You don't drop the banger now with that last statement.
So you have to know where you want to say, because when you are everywhere, you tend to lose focus. And when you lose focus, you say that's why a good numbers of people complain that their communities are not helping them. You are not helping yourself. So you have to focus somewhere. And finally, which I actually wrote them down, you have to define your career growth. Define your career growth. Are you in the freelance? Thank you. Please, someone. Are you doing freelancing for money? Are you thinking to also build your career from your freelancing journey? Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, we're trying to work with time, so don't get offended if I'm, trying to stop that. Yeah. So, hey God. Well, even me, I'm learning too, right? Even me, I'm learning. There is so much that has been dropped today. Like, there is a part. There's one question I want to ask us before we wrap up. One of that question is, how do you deal with clients? This is going to be like a twofold question. How do you deal with clients? A lot of people are asking, how do you get clients and all? So I'm going to add, it's going to be like a threefold question, because this is going to be on client management. How do you get clients? How do you deal with clients? And then how do you manage rejections from clients? It's a three-part question. And once we all answer this question, we're done for today. I need to even just go, and there's so much you guys have said today that my head is blowing. So I'm going to do a reverse now. So Alfred, we're going to make this one is going to be 3 minutes, right? Where do you find clients? How do you find clients? How do you deal with clients, pressures and the rest of it? How do you manage clients? And then how do you deal with rejections from clients? So yeah, so that's going to be the question. How to get clients, how to manage clients, and how to deal with client rejection. All right, let's go, Alfred.
Okay, yeah. So the first way how I get client, it's actually number one is actually from referral. It was so good that when I was in Nigeria, 99% of time, I never sourced for clients. I was always being recommended to, so I never lacked job. Not that I was not broke. Sometimes I was also broke. There was sometimes I didn't have clients, so I stayed. But when I moved to US, I refined my client process. I use different tools, which I use LinkedIn because mainly the kinds of people I want to target are actually on LinkedIn. So I use LinkedIn. I know what they are and who they are, which I use. I use LinkedIn Navigator on my normal LinkedIn, which I paid premium for. So it's easier for me to know the kinds of people I want to work with. And I also use Apollo. I use like 3 different other tools. I use Hunter.io. And I also there is an SEO tool I actually normally use on my prospecting. That will actually take time for me to explain. So I use different tools because it's better for you to have more clients than for you not to have any. So I use different tools, which I help other, I do for different stuff. Then deal with pressure. Now, I actually don't have pressure in the sense that especially coupled with my studies, I actually limited the numbers of people I take. I knew my MBA was quite very stressful, so I didn't want to bring money to come and scatter what I am paying a whole lot of money to do. So I limited to very limited numbers of people I can deliver their job. I deliver your job at least 2 days or 1 day before the expiration of whatever that was. So I try to manage that pressure so that now money are they fine, nobody had attack. And so, so and the other way for me to streamline the whole process, I develop an SOP. I have a template for different persons. If you are looking for a full suite SEO, I have a template for you, which I'll just use it, refine on whatever your service is, then I'll use it for you. If you are looking for anything, I have a ready-made template, which I have built different SOPs to streamline that process. And rejection is normal. Like normally, rejection is actually my love language too, because as somebody that grows up from where I grew up from, I have a different level of rejection every day. So I make it easier. And I have actually even stopped freelancing recently because I have to get a proper job for me to renew my visa and the whole rest of the stuff. My recent rejection, I have never talked about it somewhere, was me getting to the 7th round of an interview. I'm saying this, I just guided to say this to help somebody else today. I got to the 7 rounds of an interview, which I was supposed to earn a very serious amount of money. And at the end, they said they don't want the position is not available again. Rejection is normal. Before you even start anything, before you start prospecting, before you even start applying for the role, you have to know that there is possibility of you being rejected, so that it will save you the pressure of you thinking whether you were not good enough and all of those stuff. So I think I'll save time for the rest of other people. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Maureen, right? Yeah, 3 minutes. Let's talk about that. How do you get clients? How do you manage clients? And how do you deal with rejection from clients? Maureen, are you there? Maureen, are you there? Check if your mic is muted. And people wanted to see your face. So can you try as if you can, if you're in a good background, you can, turn on your video so that they can actually see you. Hi, Maureen. I don't know. I guess she's there. Okay, so while we wait for Maureen, I don't know. I'm trying to get her. Okay, so while we wait for Maureen, Ochai, can you take that? Thank you.
Okay. All right. Sure. No problem. How to get clients, how to deal with clients, and how
Wait,
to.
sorry. Guys, I
Okay.
think also, Ochai, I might give you, I'm sorry, I'm going to do this. I might also give Ochai like maybe 4 minutes to also talk a bit on Upwork and all, because you are a top pro now on Upwork, you can also know some of the things people are dealing with. So I'm giving you 4 minutes to you talk about these 3 things, and then you talk about Upwork restrictions, a couple of things that people need to bear in mind and all. Maybe one day we might just have a session for really talking about really Upwork. I'll bring you in and other guys that also do Upwork stuff. Like, please, can you I'm appealing to all speakers. Please just allow him to deal with 4 minutes instead of 3 minutes. Go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. All right. That's an interesting one. For getting clients, I believe there are so many ways you can go about it. So I'm just going to put it in one sentence, right? You just show up where the opportunities lie, right? You understand your field better. If you do your research, you know where these opportunities are. So it can be in platforms, it can be in communities, it could be even on social media. Like when I started, I got my own clients via, say, most especially referrals. That was how I started. And then I learned that there were opportunities on Upwork and I hopped there. I got the opportunities and I remain there, right? Even right now, I am yet to bring my business to social media because number one, Upwork is paying. Number two, I haven't really had that time, but that's for future reference, right? And then dealing with clients. For me, I think my secret ingredient is that I treat my clients as like instead of trying to see them as a money-making opportunity or just a transaction, right? I see it as a form of partnership, right? When you bring me onto your team, I try my best to feel a part of that team. Instead of just being like a freelancer, I become sort of an employee. I try to get myself obsessed with the product, get affiliated with your team and all of that. So this helps me to very easily over deliver, right? And secondly, I rely on systems like Mr. Alfred rightly said. I have templates and workflows for almost every situation that regards my work. So when the client comes in, I make it just takes time to develop these things and it makes your work easier, right? Then once again, your biggest advantage isn't just marketing, trying to put yourself out there, is how you do the work actually. Because I've had clients in the past where they kept coming back with different agencies, right? I worked with someone today and next tomorrow I receive an invite or a direct message telling me that you did this work for this person and that person, this also person was on that team and now they're on a new team and they're referring you. So always do a great job, right? And dealing with rejection. Uh, for me personally, I see rejection as redirection, right? If it doesn't work out, it's just sign that I can do it somewhere else, right? And it helps me to reflect internally that this is what went wrong, this is how I can be better, and it's just continuous growth from there, right? So if you are rejected, try to know why you were rejected. Most of the time you always find one reason. When you fix that reason, you find another reason, and before you know it, you are like fully secured and better, right? So those were the first 3 questions. And sorry, Mr. Emmanuel, for the question concerning Upwork, like what exactly do do you need?
So it's actually from some of the what do you call it participants. Some of them are asking questions
Okay.
around how to get clients with Upwork, and then how to manage restrictions, and also dealing with how to write proposals, to clients. Just touch on.
Okay. Okay, the thing with Upwork, like you say, this is going to require another session on its own. But the thing with Upwork is that it takes like a lot of things working hand in hand for you to gain traction, right? Your proposals might be good, but if your profile is not matching, it's a problem, right? If your profile is solid and your proposals are not good, it's a problem, right? So just so I brush through everything, some of the things that you need to have in mind hopping on Upwork is that you need to have a solid profile. And solid profile is a broad term. I'm talking about good tagline, good description. Very, very important. You need portfolio. You need a very good and attractive portfolio. And very recently, I've been hammering on the importance of specialized profiles. I'll share it across my socials, and it's something that people underestimate. You should also look that up as well. And yeah, that's for profile. When you set up a profile, next you go to proposal writing, right? Proposal writing, the very interesting thing about it is that if you understand the perspective or the client side of proposals, it's very easy for you to refine your proposals, right? Just one very important tip, your client always sees the first, say, 30 to 40 words of your proposals. So you need to make sure you get them to open the proposal from that first 30 to 40 words, right? This is where the concept of hooks come in. You learn how to write powerful hooks such that when the clients see this hook, they are tempted to open your proposal. And the minute they open the proposal, you lock them down with the rest of the content. So I learned very recently about this this method, right? That you should look at proposal as not trying to get the job, but trying to get attention, right? You should treat proposal as when you see a fine girl for the first time today, right? The proposal should be you trying to get them to answer you and probably give you their number, not for you to marry the girl on the spot, right? So this is another perspective you can use. So from the proposal, you try to use the hook, use a call to action that gets the client into your inbox. Like when you are trying to get a gig from the proposal itself, you are against many other freelancers. But if it's in the DM, it's probably just you versus 3 or 2 others, and you stand a better chance of selling yourself properly there, right? So just very quickly, these are like a summary of what I can bring up with the little time given. And for restrictions, we are Nigerians. We always suffer this whole restriction thing. PayPal, Payoneer, it's everywhere. On Upwork, however, we're giving a good chance. And if you are trying to say verify your profile, the best thing you can use in this life is an international passport. While they accept NIN, it doesn't really carry that much load, that much authority as your international passport. So as a freelancer, try your best to get an international passport. After international passport, the next best thing is a driver's license, right? So try to focus on using these things on Upwork. Your NIN should be your last bet. And if it doesn't work, please stop trying it over and over and over again. The next email you are going to be getting is a restriction, and usually you just your account has been suspended. So please be mindful of that, right? So yeah, that's as much as I can dish out for the
Yeah,
limited time, and I hope it helps.
we'll definitely talk about this. Thank you so much. Lemonade, what do you have to say about getting clients and having to manage clients, then also dealing with rejections?
Is that for me?
Yes.
Okay, so basically, how do I put it? My kind of freelancing is not like every other person kind of freelancing. I've always been opportunity to work full-time with companies as like a full-time employee with all the benefits attached, traveling, health insurance, everything. So basically that is my kind of freelancing. And rejection, I don't think I do get a lot of rejection because I don't usually apply for jobs. They sometimes reach out to me, and when I casually apply for jobs, like the current job I'm doing, I was not really looking for a job. I was actually teaching a friend how to explore Upwork. And on the process, I wanted to teach him how to write a cover letter. And I saw this job and I said, okay, let me just show you how to write a cover letter with this job. And fortunately for me, I got a response. And funny thing about the job is that in 2021, I actually applied for the same company, but not on Upwork. I just randomly saw it on Google and applied, and I didn't get to the final stage. So it was when this guy started interviewing me, I saw the same company. I was like, how? And that was how I got the job. So in terms of rejections, I think maybe when I was getting rejection was initially when I started. Then I wasn't actively applying for job. I was more of learning, but sometimes I try to, that's like a crossover time. But there's one thing about me, I always tell people, and I thank my father for that anyways. I grew up knowing that in this life, I'm not entitled to anything. I'm not entitled to yes. I'm not entitled to no. And that kind of formed this habit of me. I don't see rejection the way people's like, I kind of find it weird when people cry that they are rejected for things or they are like, for me, I don't know how, I don't feel, I don't know how, I understand that it's sad, but for me, I don't feel anything when I get rejected because already from the outset, my mind is made up of the expectation. Is it that yes or no? When it is a yes, I'm apparently happy about that. I see that as an opportunity, or I see that oh, maybe this is my time. But when it is a no, I also see that as an opportunity for me to learn, and also it's this is not my time. Because for every single time you get a yes, someone else got a no. And for every single time you got a no, another person got a yes. So there is nothing special about you. There is like for every single time you want a yes, yes, nobody only you got great. And you shouldn't expect is some maybe more like a personal kind of treatment from God because you are too special. So I always tell people that you are not getting this job doesn't mean you are not good enough. It could be there's something these people need that you probably do not have and the other person have it, or maybe it's not just your time. And as long as you are not giving up, that is why in my community we have this slogan, Namomu they give up. So as long as you're not give up, you are consistently doing something. And when you get this rejection, depending on your relationship with the person, you can also ask for the why. Why didn't I get this job? Maybe I remember a client telling me that was way back. I interviewed for this show in the morning, and after the interview, they told me already I was going to reject the offer because it was $6 per hour. I was already going to reject the offer. But they told me something that made me laugh so hard. They were two interviewers, and the other one told me that you just talk too much. Like during the interview, we noticed that before we ask you questions, you have responded to, like you talk too much. And I laughed so hard because another thing where talking too much is now a problem. It's not like I wasn't asking your question. Maybe I answer your question longer than you expected. Yeah, you tell me that, no, this, you are taking a longer period or maybe you cut me short. But giving that as an excuse for not giving me a job sound absurd. But for me, I just gave it back to them that I wasn't also going to accept the offer because that is just $6 per hour and I know it's $6 per hour. So I just wanted to be petty. So in terms of rejections, I don't see, or I'll just tell freelancers, don't see rejection as is the worst thing that can happen to you. Just know that when it is your time, let them go they rush you. And in terms of jobs, a lot of people do say that Upwork is so difficult to get a job, but I'll tell you for free that now you apply for jobs that you are not overtly qualified. There's some, as I tell, I'm a customer success manager, and one of the things I tell my subordinates is that you don't go to where you overpromise and you underperform. Rather, you should find a way to underpromise when the expectations, like you tell people, I'm going to do this. Whatever you told them they're going to do, that means when it is time for you to deliver, you are going above and beyond to over deliver. That makes more sense. So when you apply for a job, don't go for a job that you are just average. There are jobs that when you see them, you know that you are the best bet. Like these people, there is no way anybody applying for this job will be better than you. That should be the kind of job you're applying. But a lot of people, once they see money, they be like, you are just starting, you want to earn $30 per hour. That is not even the problem. But how are you sure you are better than the rest of the people competing? That is why I came up with another strategy, which is if you are a beginner, you don't have much money to waste on connect, don't just apply for any job. When you see that job you think you love, instead of you applying, kindly save the job. Just click the love icon, save it. Come back an hour later to check the number of people that have applied for that job. If you still have less than 5 applicants, then this is the time you should be able to shoot your shot. But if you come back, 50 people have applied, why are you wasting your connect? It's not like you might not be lucky, but in this time, when you have limited number of connect, it's not the time for you to start playing they can find with your small connects. You have to be strategic. Apply for jobs that you know that you're overqualified and you can easily express yourself when writing your cover letter. Also apply for jobs that have lesser number of connect. Then I also teach students or tell them how you can also sell yourself, pitch. There's something Alfred said, and when he was mentioning the tools, I was almost going to ask him, please, are you a digital student? Because all the things he was mentioning are the tools we teach, are also the things I tell my students to do. Sometimes they said, when Mohammed don't come to the mount, I be when mounted, I don't know how they talk about, whether I'm mounted they go, I've been a Mohammed. But whichever ways, when these jobs are not forthcoming, you're not getting them directly on LinkedIn, on Upwork, on job. Even now, I tell students, you see, Jobber Man. I was in Malaysia last 2 months, and my colleague that met there told me she got the job that sponsored him, works like full work sponsorship with her kids to Malaysia. She got that job on Jobber Man, and I was shocked because to me, I thought Jobber Man is just Nigeria job. And that made me to go and check Jobber Man. And I'll tell you for free that Jobber Man have also improved. You can see foreign jobs there, but though they are not that many, but it just shows that they have improved. So a lot of you kind of focus on the dollar paying job, but you have to start somewhere. You have these skills, you don't have experience. This can also be a barrier. Start, there's something I noticed with the skills a lot of people are currently having. Like, I don't know about others, but my students, with the skills they gather from our community, when you apply for Nigerian jobs that you are qualified by, you are a hot cake. Because the kind of tools these people that are even going to recruit you, they don't know them. So you leverage on all this knowledge and sell yourself. You can start small. You are currently earning 30K, 40K, but this Nigeria, some of them are paying up to 500K, 400K, 300K. You can get started with that, invest in Connect, get a good laptop. Then while you are still working, you are gathering experience. Yeah, this time it's not you lying that you have this experience while you do not. You are gathering experience, you are building your confidence level. Then you apply for remote job, and that will make a lot of things easier for you. So don't just always depend. It has to be dollar. It has to be dollar. Sometimes you need to start somewhere. Other times you also need to volunteer. There's this platform that partnered with our community where our students volunteer. And at the end of the volunteering, they get good recommendation directly from these people. And some of the companies also retain them. So you go out of your way, keep money aside, and focus on building yourself, building experience. When you build experience and you are able to put yourself out there, like for those that know me from 2017 on up to 2021, you agree with me, I was the hottest person on LinkedIn. There's nobody that don't know me on LinkedIn this time. Is it that I'm posting my certification or I'm posting one I check? Like I was apparently one of the hottest person on LinkedIn. So you keep selling yourself like that. And as you are selling yourself, people are watching. You don't even need their likes, their comments, or the people that really matters are watching. They are looking out for you. And one day they will ask you, are you selling, or how can we buy what you're selling?
Abio, thank you so much.
Then for the Alfred, you also go out of your way and do what? You chase these people. How do you chase them? Now you have the skills. You know what exactly you want. You know what you can do. You know what you are bringing to the table. What do you do? Then you use tools like LinkedIn Navigator, as he said, especially Apollo. Apollo is not just, I don't just teach Apollo as a new generation tool. I also teach students how you can use this Apollo to generate leads of recruiters, list of maybe CEO, depending on the role and the kind of company you are looking at for. Pitch your services to them. I can't count the number of our students that have gotten job through direct pitch of their services. You can pitch your services to them, tell them what you are bringing to them, especially if you're interested in sales, because every company wants to sell. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Like, thank you so much. Somebody said a 7-page book not full. But again, if after all this class, after this session, you don't act, it's one thing to hear, is another thing to act. Like, every single one of the speakers have poured their heart out. They've shared so much, unreserved, unfiltered. They've been able to share and talk so much. Please do not underrate it, right? Do not underrate it. So two more. Ifioque, what do you how do you get clients, and also how do you manage client rejections, and how do you deal with how do you get clients,
Okay, thank you. So I think a handful of people might know this. I create content every day, video content actually. I've been creating, I ported almost completely to video content. And in my experience, the best way to find the highest quality of clients is to have them find you. Show up so hard and so efficiently that they have to find you. Let me tell you something. I just completed 60 days, my 60 days of direct everyday videos, and I'm starting 31 days content bootcamp, 31 days lock-in, where I'm going to be showing people how to create videos every day. Now, the byproduct of creating on that scale is that people find you more than you find them. People find you quicker than you find them. I don't, if I were to open a screenshot of my LinkedIn inbox, I'm mostly getting people who reach out to me than I reach out to them. I can even mention the names of it's not a secret. I can mention the names of the establishments, including Opay. I got a copywriting job offer from Opay to go to Lagos. The thing is, I don't want to live in Lagos. Yeah. I got a job from Opay. Yeah, I don't actually want to. Why? I have a big phobia for Lagos.
Oh wow.
Big phobia. So the highest quality of clients that you will ever find are the ones who find you. Chasing clients is not something I recommend it especially if you're starting out. But let me tell you something. If you make 30 videos, nice videos on copywriting, for instance, or content creation, or content writing, or AI automation, creating good, high quality content around your skill set is going to put more eyes on you than you would ever be able to chase clients. That is it about finding clients. You have to create a system that draws clients more to you than you are able to chase them, because of course you might not even know where your clients are. You have very good companies that have headhunters literally just scouring the internet. Guys, my name is Ifioque on my socials, just IFIOQUE on my social. But on LinkedIn, it's Ifioque Bernard. So yes, that's what I do. I create videos, and my videos go out so much that the people I want to work with me. They come to me and then DM me or send me emails, and that's how I find clients. I strongly recommend you create content around your skill set. On managing clients, you should not service everybody. I think you should service a very specific kind of people. a very specific kind of people. And it is also personally, it's important for you to let the people know your service know, not by telling them, but by showing them that you service other clients. Let me give you an instance. I recently got a gig to manage social media. Of course, I have people who I manage social media with. Like I have a team of people who, we work on social media when I'm not doing copywriting. So I assign this account to my students, the people I have trained. And then I ask the client, oh, so do you have an ad budget? I do not manage social media for a company that doesn't run ads. And they're like, oh, okay. So we got an ad budget of $200 a month, which is small. We just need to promote your reels, to get more followers. And then I told them you have to pay for CapCut for a year. You have to pay for CapCut for a year. And then they asked me, you don't have a CapCut account you're working with? And I'm like, yes, I do. That's for other clients. You will pay your own. I will use probably the same CapCut account to work for you and for other people, but you will pay for your own. You understand? The clients you work with have to be very specific, and they need to know you're not the only ones they are not the only ones you're servicing. It actually puts you at a better place when your clients know that, oh, listen, I have to deal with this guy, understanding that other people work with this guy, and it puts you at a certain, it gives you some sort of gravitas, you understand? And then let's go to managing rejections. I think you should keep a backlog of clients that you're prospecting, a backlog of them. There's something funny that I talk when I'm having my mentorship group with men, just guys. There's something I tell them. I tell them that you should have a talking stage with multiple women per time, not sleeping with them. You should have a talking stage with multiple girls per time. What that does for you is you have an abundance mindset. Nobody gets to punk around with you like that, because it's like there are like 6 people you've spoken to, like 3 of them like you very much. One of them is trying to like you. That's about 4 people. So when you're ready to date, you have a group of 4 people to pick from. It gives you some sort of abundance. No, I'm being very honest right now. You should do the same thing with your clientele. You should be prospecting with as many clients as possible.
Ifioque.
I'm being honest. I'm being very honest, man.
Oh,
You should be prospecting with as many clients as possible, to the point where one person rejecting you is just like another Wednesday. Say, all right, no problem. This guy fell off, so we have to be touching up with our other people. So at some point, you're going to get to a level where you get to recruit your clients and even put some people on hold. Okay, I am so sorry. Our social media management calendar is filled up for the next 2 months. Please, I am going to reach out to you after 2 months so that we can onboard you and work with you. Keep a backlog of customers and clients that you're talking to. Create content in the line of your skill, your skill area. These people will reach out to you. It's not even magic. I have created just 60 days at a stretch, and Ope, Adina, Shawarma Kings in Lagos, Black Pepper. I'm not exaggerating. I'm mentioning names. Do you understand? What that does for you is it gives you an abundance mindset. So in summary, number 1, to get clients, the best way to get highest quality clients is to let them find you, as opposed to you chasing them. When you show up with content, with valuable content, they will find you. Number 2, managing clients, get a very specific niche level clientele, work with them, and let them know you have other clients. Let them know they are not the only ones you work with. Genuinely let them know that, not by telling them, but by showing them your SOP. Like Lazarus said, I think, standard operating procedures should expose the fact that you work with other people. Let them know that. And number 3, managing rejections. Always keep a backlog of clientele, of people you're talking to and prospecting. This way, if somebody decides that they don't want to work with you anymore, it's just like another Wednesday. It's just like another day. Everybody goes away. Everybody's still happy. That's all I can tell you for now. Thank you very much.
Oh boy. Hey, God. Oh. Hey, that's Oh my. Wow. Keep a backlog, right? Adeline, the question is, how do you deal with clients? How to get clients and how to manage clients and how to deal with client rejection. So once you be able to answer that, that's how we're going to call it a wrap. We can actually, Adeline, are you there? I can't find her. I think she's trying to rejoin again. Sorry. So once she's able to rejoin, so she answers her own part of the question, and then we can now drop our last words, like last words that we can actually so that we can actually wrap up the session. I'm trying to get her. Hold on one sec. Okay, so while we wait for her to rejoin, Maureen had to leave because she had a little emergency. And I'm so sorry about that. We're waiting. We want Adeline to come and share her own part of how to get this client and all. But in the meantime, while we wait for her to join back, I would like us to drop our last words, like our closing words, so that I can be able to share a couple of things. But before that, we're growing a community. We're growing a community where we can actually bring speakers to really share and come and help us become better versions of ourselves. And they're going to be, the group link has been shared, so you can join the group. We can actually also follow our page, and all the speakers, I'm also going to share all their links to their social media pages, so you can actually follow them and connect with them and all of that. Also, if you join the WhatsApp group, you can also follow up on some of the things we've been dropping. And then if you are getting value, all the values you've been getting so far, you can use the social media, your page, drop them and use the hashtag. You can use the hashtag freelancer360 and roundtable01. So once you're able to, so that we can all see you and also respond to your tag and all of that. So please do not forget to use the hashtag roundtable01 and then hashtag freelancer360. Use that to be able to share your insight, things you've gained, the value you've gotten, and all of that. And also, you might also want to give a shout out to all the speakers. And remember to follow us again. Thank you so much. And then, well, Adeline is back. So, Adeline, the question we're asking is, how do you get clients? How do you manage clients? And how do you deal with rejection? You can share with us so that we can all hear from you. All the speakers have shared their own, so we're actually waiting for you.
Okay, thank you so much. So now for the question of getting clients, there is no one way to get clients. There are the numerous platforms where you can get clients. You can get clients on LinkedIn. Yes, the LinkedIn that a lot of you, look down on. You can get clients on LinkedIn. And the strategy to getting clients on LinkedIn involves you, showing up, documenting your growth, documenting your process on LinkedIn, and also making sure that you're connecting with the people who you really want, who you feel can pay for your services, the people you really want to work for. So if you don't want to work for Nigerian employers, you would limit how you approach Nigerian, I don't know how to explain it, but there are some people that you come on LinkedIn, they have so many followers, and most of their followers are Nigerians. Meanwhile, they are looking to work for global companies. You can get opportunities to apply to jobs for global companies from your Nigerian, colleagues and maybe your Nigerian followers, but reaching out to connect with those that are actually outside the country, especially those who will pay you in the dollar you want, That's one strategy that I employ. So another strategy I employ is, joining groups. So I sit down and ask myself questions. Like Mr. Ifioque said, not Ifioque, Alfred said, you audit yourself. I ask myself questions a lot of times. I would say, so who are those that will likely need my services? If my brain is not giving me what I want, I will go and ask Google, or I even go and ask ChatGPT. The guy will open as ChatGPT. I call him the guy because I have conversations with him a lot. So he will now open my eyes to some things that I'm overlooking, to some areas that I'm overlooking. And, I will join groups where you have people like that. For what I do specifically, it's mostly be small and medium business owners that I target. I haven't started targeting big organizations. I hope I get to work with big organizations sometime, but for the length of my career, SMBs have been my mainstay, and I've worked with them so long. I have many SMBs I've been working with for 3 years, 4 years. So the strategy is go to LinkedIn, find groups where you have small and founders of businesses, CEOs, people who can make decisions in small and medium businesses. The reason why I do that is because the decision to hire me is usually shorter. The people who were approved, they're not that many. When there are some jobs I've gotten that I've had to go through 5 stages of the interview process. But when I'm working with SMBs, the decision to hire me is a lot shorter, maximum of 3 persons. And I've known my fate in that recruitment process. So I would target them. I'll target groups where I can find founders of businesses. There was one time I was so out of job. I started targeting them state by state. I just faced the United States. I asked ChatGPT which states have the largest clusters of small and medium businesses in real estate, small and medium businesses in construction, small and medium businesses in service industry. So it will give me, and then I'll narrow down my search, and then I'll now go and find groups of business owners in that state for that industry. I see groups like that. I now join groups that have, maybe you see groups that have 40,000 members, 50,000 members. I make posts in those groups, very strategic posts. The first job I got was from one of those groups. And it's even funny that I was making a post in a US based group, and I got to work for a Russian. He's based in Moscow. It was insane. So I implemented a process for him. He opened up his business newly, and he needed somebody that was very hands-on with, standardizing process. He said everything is scattered. He needed someone to bring structure around it, which is what I do. So I worked with him. So that's like my breakthrough on LinkedIn. If you come to my LinkedIn page, it's very idle. I don't know. I'm going to commit to doing better there, but don't underrate that my LinkedIn page. As in, there are so many people, krinkum krankum. I used to call them krinkum krankum. In that my LinkedIn, they seem like they reach out to me for jobs. Another strategy is using their services page. I've gotten 2 jobs from my services page on LinkedIn. So if you don't know what a services page is, you go and check it out. It's just like an Upwork account, but this time around it's from LinkedIn. Now, those who have created a services page and are offering their services on LinkedIn, they will tell you that, oh, they want me to pay for premium, and I'm looking for a job, I don't have money. What do? Whenever somebody sends you a message requesting for your service, when you go there within 24 hours, you can still see the message, at least the first 3 messages. You can see the person's name. After some, like maybe 24 or 48 hours, you will no longer see. They will blur it and tell you to pay for premium. So you need to allow your LinkedIn to give you notifications, so that when you receive a request on your services page, you copy the name of the person and go and paste it on your search bar in LinkedIn and add the person, but as in connect with the person. Don't just follow, connect with the person. LinkedIn will allow you to connect by sending a note So in that note, you acknowledge the message you received and tell them that, you know, they should furnish you with further details of what they really want. You can also leave your link there. If you have like your Calendly link, you can leave it there as well. Tell them, oh, they should schedule a meeting. Like, instead of waiting for them to tell you when it's convenient for them, give them a link, like initiate the call to action. Don't wait for them to, you know, don't tell them to, oh, the CTA, let your CTA not be, let me know when you're convenient so we can connect. Let your CTA be, kindly find a convenient time for you on my calendar so we can have this discovery call, something like that. And then that works as well. And then lastly, on Upwork, I wouldn't dwell on Upwork because Mr. Ochai Emmanuel has already, you know, given you guys insight on Upwork. Although I know that, yeah, he has done a lot. He has spoken a lot about Upwork. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'll just focus on LinkedIn. But for Fiverr, which is another platform that, you know, my students also use, I encourage them to go there. They get gigs on Fiverr. You can create a gig on Fiverr, but don't leave it on Fiverr. Copy the link to the gig, use it and make a post. When you join these groups, use it to make a post there. On Facebook, make a post. You might not really get jobs from the clicks on the gig, but because people are clicking on that link to see, the algorithm pushes your gig to the front. So when buyers on Fiverr come and they want to hire someone, your gig will be amongst those that will make it to the at least first 3 pages of people offering the services on your gig. So that's it for, you know, how to get clients. The second question, Mr. Emmanuel, sorry, call my attention to it. Okay, how to what was that? Sorry.
How to manage clients and then deal with client rejection.
Okay, how to manage clients. Please, when you're working with clients, communicate, communicate, communicate. Some of you will manage to get clients, and then when your client sends you a message by 10 a.m., you're responding by 2 p.m. Set your response time to a maximum of 15 minutes. It's going to, and then learn to communicate. If you encounter roadblocks, communicate. If you have cleared the roadblocks, communicate. They might not respond to you. I had one client like that, Rayad. He owns me a humanity call. He owns a small SMB in Virginia. Rayad will not respond to you, but I noticed that the period I was very sick, Rayad was asking me, your communication declined. What's really going on? And then it dawned on me that these people actually prefer you to communicate with them. You know how we do in Nigeria, you expect the person to understand. I go die for you. I better wait, I'm working on it. No, you have to communicate on the go. Clear communication keeps your clients. So somebody will come and my students will be asking me, Ma, how do you keep clients for 2 years, 3 years? I said it's communication. I communicate so well that they look forward to meeting with me. I made a post recently. One of my oldest clients, project has finished though. I did my day. She was, I want to meet with you. It's been a while. You need to learn how to communicate with, decision makers and even your colleagues if you're working on a team. That's how you keep clients. That's how you maintain clients. You can have one client and work with that client for 5 years. That's a lot of money if you look at it over time. And having that one will give you stability to be handling smaller projects that will be giving you money. And finally, how to accept rejection. Omo, you move. Oh, rejection is part of life. You're not going to start feeling bad that you were rejected. Don't do that. If they reject you, it's your cue that, okay, there's something, there's somewhere I didn't measure up. If you can find that from the person, that will give you closure. You go and work on it. If you cannot find that, try to replay how the communication went, the questions you were asked, how confident you answered them, and then probably tell yourself, okay, I don't think I answered this question very well. Oh, this thing he asked me, let me go and see if I can, do well in it, so that if this opportunity presents itself the next time, I'm going to actually be very much prepared for this type. So you keep refining it, like you keep meeting clients that will reject you. Personally, I have, before I got my first gig on Upwork, I sent over 100 and something proposals. And it wasn't supposed to be so if my proposals were quality proposals. That's what ignorance causes, right? So but I kept seeing, I always ask for feedback and they will keep giving me feedback. They'll keep giving me feedback. Do you know that there's a client I'm working for, Drew? He interviewed me in 2022 and then I didn't do well. I added him up on LinkedIn. I took his name to LinkedIn. I connected with him on LinkedIn. But there was one time I was out of gig and I remembered him and I went to him and told him, between the last time you interviewed me and now, these are skills I currently have. I have upgraded, I've done this, I've done that. Guess what? I'm working with him right now. So let your rejections be a route for you to go and re-strategize. Don't take it personal. Just move. Don't even sulk. Don't think twice about it. Like, don't take it personal. Like, okay, no. It's just your skill. Find what it is, learn, upgrade, and then move. So that's it for my that's my response for for this. Thank you.
Oh, wow. I think we're going to sell the replay of this thing. We're going to sell it because this kind of value. Wow. Wow. Oh boy. Oh boy. Thank you so much, every single person that have joined so far. And I can't thank our speakers enough. Like, I want us to be able to, I want us to say one last words, and before we can actually, we just need to go, because you can be here all day and our head will just blow off. Let them go and soak it. Let them go and soak this part. In fact, they should just go and soak this part. If after this session you do not do anything with all of these things we've heard, maybe your village people, they don't cook you. They don't cook you. And they don't have any other thing else they do than cooking you. Wow. Wow. Okay, thank you so much. And we're gonna go this way. Lazarus, one last thing, just one last departing words, and then call it a wrap. One last word from you, just one last words.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much, Emmanuel. This was quite amazing, and I think you woke me up from since my 6 a.m. and this is almost 9. Okay, this is already 10 o'clock, so that's 4 hours. You woke me from my sleep. Thank you so. Thank you, speakers. Thank you, all the amazing speakers. Thanks to all the participants. I know everything you've heard and you still hearing. It's like, I think I have listened to all the speakers. Emmanuel, you actually did a very fine work of selecting the people you want to talk. I have actually not seen anybody that said anything that seemed like the person was bragging. So I haven't heard any bragging stuff that seemed like it was exaggerated. That's to show you processes. It's actually, when you know you're direct. Thank you so much for joining the call. This is not just for you to listen and go. This is for you to listen, refine what and not try to do something amazing with it. I have tried as much as possible. I am for people that are actually asking if I'm training. I'm actually not training at the moment because of time, but I am, because of Emmanuel and the amazing stuff he has done for the community. I replied to somebody with my link to my Calendly for you to book a call. So if there is any other person, you could book a call. But I won't be able to take people individually on the call. So please, you could actually collaborate with Emmanuel. Let it be a group call. You could let Emmanuel pair you with somebody if you want to have a conversation with me. Please, it's free. I'm not charging for that. And I'm not going to charge for that. I've just tried to see how we can actually help ourselves and scale our group to a higher level. Thanks to all the speakers. Thank you, Emmanuel. I think I have to run. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Sorry, guys. Lazarus is in US, and by this time he's supposed to even be sleeping, but we don't drag and come outside. I'm really grateful. Thank you so much for really spending time to come and share with us, the insights and all. I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful to every single one of you, and thank you, Alfred. Yes, you're free to go. And then once I'm also going to see how to organize for people that want to speak to you and all. We're going to schedule that, And thank you so much. Thank you so much. Deeply appreciate. Deeply appreciate. God bless you big time. All right. Thank you. Okay, so Ochai, your last words.
I would like to get to know you better. Yeah.
First of all, thank you so much for this session. I mean, I've always an advocate of continuous learning, and this was a great opportunity for me to learn from other wonderful individuals doing great things in their respective fields, right? And for me, I mean, if you've heard my story, you can already guess what I'm going to say. I mean, learning never ends, and make sure you always prioritize learning, right? And for freelancing, you just need to make sure that you show up every time. It's not about luck or shortcuts, right? You need to keep showing up every single time. I have a 4-point, should I say, agenda or a motto, a personal motto. It's hard work, consistency, determination, and above all, grace, right? So if you keep showing up, you keep showing well, you stay consistent, even when it's hard, every rejection just, keeps pointing you to the right direction. And eventually, you're going to your break. So I also picked out something from this session that motivated me to do something that have been pressured to do. I've been pressured several times to release a course on Upwork, and personally I didn't prioritize it, despite the fact that I'm always here to help people. That's the main reason why I'm here. When it comes to investing in someone in one way or the other, I try my best to show up as well as I can. So I realized that everywhere I go, despite the free tips and insights I share on my socials, if you don't know that, please check them out. I share free tips, insights, just very random. When I think of something, I dish it out there. No paid anything, but I'm working on one that brings everything together to one place, so you guys can keep an eye out on that. And once again, I'm really glad I'm here today, and I'm happy to stay this far, but I was to run. I didn't plan on staying until this time. Grateful. Thank you guys so much for having me, and looking forward to giving back even more. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to all our to you, Emmanuel. You really shared so much today, and I'm really grateful. Thank you for spending time with us, with all the freelancers that have been here throughout today. Thank you so much. Like, you've dive on different topics, shared your part and all. I'm really grateful to every speaker that has joined, some that have left already. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for really sharing. And yes, we're looking forward to that. I'm also going to come to you because the community also needs you. I'm going to find a way to organize something with you so that we can actually give back to the society, to the community again. And I'm really grateful. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you so much. All right. I will share your links.
It's a pleasure. See you soon.
Every single thing. I'm going to share the links to the social media and all. They will follow you. There is a group already created where they can actually go follow all the speakers. All right. Thank you so much. God bless you. Big time. Adeline, your last word. Is she there? Adeline, are you here?
I'm here.
Okay, yeah. So, your last words.
Okay. My last words to everyone that attended today's conference is there's a reason why God ordered your steps to be here. However, you got the link, wherever the link came from, you're here for a reason. It is my earnest wish that you got value. And it's also my earnest wish that you succeed in your endeavors, you get clarity from attending this conference. I want you to also understand that you cannot do everything at once. So even though the industry is filled with so many skills, my last words to you would be to find your own. And all those skills you're learning, find a way to apply it in your own. So for example, we have AI. AI is reigning now. AI automation, AI social media marketing, AI content creation, AI. So if you're social media, if you want to do social media management, you go and learn AI content creation. If you want to do digital project management now, you can now go and learn AI automation and add it to your skill set. So you're not leaving your industry entirely, but you are learning skills and you are applying it in your own. Those who are going to get jobs are those who are going to be on top of the information that is currently in vogue. So what you would do is to stay on top of information. When people are learning this, follow your mates and go and learn. Don't come in when it's late. Don't come in when it's late. Then when you make your first money, don't go and use it and faji. Use it to go and pay for a professional certification for what you are doing. Yes, professional certification would qualify you for long-term roles in companies where you have the full benefits. So you might be doing whatever it is you're doing is working for you, you're making, dollars, but you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars if you actually get that qualification. It will get you a foot in the door. So I think I've exhausted all that's in my head, and I appreciate every one of you. Thank you, Mr. Bountiful. God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for really spending time with us, right? It means a whole lot to me. Thank you so much. God bless you. And I'm so sure that a lot of us have gotten so much value from you. And I know some of them are saying so many silent prayers for all the speakers, and I pray that the Lord blesses all of you, every single one of you. Thank you so much, Adeline. Thank you for sparing time to really come on this conversation and share from your heart. This is truly Roundtable Freelancing Unfiltered. There is no filter here. Everything was from the heart. And thank you so much, right? God bless you. Lemonade.
Yes,
Your last word. Thank you so much.
my last word.
Yeah.
Okay, so my last word to everyone is just understand that your skill sets are your currency, and remember, all the success stories you are hearing from every one of us today didn't just come so easy. And if any one of us at some point decided to give up, maybe we will not be here to gist about our experience. The journey sometimes is tougher than the same. Forget about the glamorous part of it where everybody's flaunting dollars, showing you dollars, and make it look like it's easy. It's not easy. But one thing I always assure people is that as long as you are not giving up, as long as you are not considering, dumping the whole process, and as long as you are not scale hopping, I call it skill showing, meaning when you hear that project management is what is paying now, you rush to project management. When you hear that the next big thing is cloud computing, you rush to cloud computing. And when you hear that all the money is in sales, you rush to sales. As long as you keep jumping from one place, you may not achieve success. But when you pick a struggle and invest heavily in that struggle, understand the niche, and can call yourself an expert, it will be a lot easier for you to start achieving success. Like I keep saying, forget about not getting offer immediately. You get the time where you go reach and then go they rush you. I have an experience that I wanted to share. I have this man that wanted to hire me before I left Microsoft, So before I left Microsoft, the man wanted to hire me. I actually supported him when I was working with Microsoft. He's a Nigerian man living in the US. I helped him solve a problem. And he connected with me on LinkedIn and he wanted to give me an offer and asked me, how much is he going to pay me? I said 250K. And he agreed. There was no argument. But immediately I left Microsoft, or immediately I was sacked, I told him I need a job. And this man looked me finished. Talk say what he can afford to pay me is 105. From 250K to 105 because he felt I was desperately in need of a job. And I told him to his face, I'm not going to take the job. And guess who is paying me more than 105 per session? So he apparently on a school, and at the end of, he wanted me to be a director in the school, and I said no, I cannot work for you. And we reached an agreement to train his students on Upwork, and that is just less than 2 hours training. And for every single student to me, he pays me 10K. And the least number of students he gives me every month is at least 100 students. So you can task 10K by 100, and he pays me before I even get to teach anybody. And this is someone that's finding it hard to pay me how much? 250K. So what I'm saying is that invest in yourself. Forget about the naysayer. Some people are going to tell you all the skills that have been gathering. Why are you not making money from them? Don't listen. Keep gathering the skills. Some people are going to tell you, see this person, see the other person. Don't look at anybody. Your chi. I don't know if you understand the meaning of chi. Your personal God is totally different from the other person. There are lots of people in this life, they don't struggle for anything. There are lots of people before they even ask, they get what they want. That is how their own destiny works. And there are people like me who have to work so hard for everything they need. But somehow, grace will always find us, meaning we work hard and we achieve success. Do you understand? So you need to understand how your destiny is, and that will save you from a lot of struggle, a lot of confusion, a lot of what dampened spirit, and continuous learning. Learning is as I'm talking to you, I'm taking a course that I paid 300 and something $1,000. No, not 300, $3,000. Where I see 300, because I beg you, I will reach that level. 3,000 something dollars. And for just 4 days course, it's 4 days training. So, and I'm also looking at, diversifying. So what I tell my students is learning is continuously, you don't stop learning. You don't start making $10 per hour, $30 per hour, and you think that you have arrived. The truth is that you may make that amount of money at the moment, but if you are not upskilling, if you are not adapting to the new market trend, you'll be left behind. And even that $30 away, they will, if you wake up tomorrow, they don't carry, they are just like one person said, you are locked out of the system and you start all over again. That is one funny part about freelancing, though that is not my kind of freelancing. You understand? So in summary, invest in your skills, be patient. Just know that the job may not come as early as expected, but as long as you are rugged, you are proactive, and you are continuously exploring opportunities, you must achieve success. So I wish you guys the best, and I'm not sure I can stay any longer. I'm
No,
kind of
no, we're
tired,
already
so
done.
see you guys.
Thank you
Okay,
so.
yeah, bye bye.
We're already done. Like this is already a wrap. This was your last words and hey God. Man, there was so much that was unpacked here today. And my biggest prayer is it will not just enter from one ear and escape to another ear. And my biggest prayers is that we act on this value and that we will receive and reap the reward of our own individual effort, because beyond every single thing that has been shared by all the speakers, amazing speakers, they're like now fire brand I carry come six fire people, and every single thing they've shared today, one of the most important thing is to make sure that you act on it. I'm so sure that our month is just starting very great today, because you're getting another ginger to really start up start up for the month, and then push ahead. It might take this fire for the next month. Do not allow it to go down. We'll find a way to get the videos and then the recorded videos, so that you might always go back to rewatch them, and allow it to soak, allow it to, and also work on them. Take all the advice, take all the things that have been said, take all the things that have been said. The group, I'm going to, if you join the group, we're all the speakers, every single one of them, I'm going to share their individual links to their LinkedIn and to their Facebook. You go and follow them, also go and also thank them, right? Thank them in any of their pages. They're going to post about this thing, the conference we had today. Go and thank them, go and appreciate each and every one of them. It is not, it's not easy for them to stay and sacrifice, hours of their time to come and share and give you so much value. Again, this is freelancing unfiltered. There was nobody had a slide. Nobody was talking from a slide or anything. And all they were just saying is from the heart. And this is powerful, right? And also they are also telling you things to do, because those are the things that have worked for them, and they're also wishing you well because they want you to also excel, they want you to succeed, they want you to do well, right? So take it as your own opportunity to really, really act on all of the things that have been shared with you today. Do not just sleep on them. Do not just say, oh, I've learned something today and and that's it. Do not do that. Make sure that you sit down today, do evaluation. Alfred talked about SWOT analysis. Go and do a SWOT analysis about your entire life process and all. Sit down and do all of that. Look at all the things they've highlighted today, how to deal with clients, and boost up your mind that if you get rejected, is not the end, right? And in the group, we're also trying to make sure that we're going to do collaborate with people, try to build a synergy, right? Try to build a synergy with people. You don't know who could be your next big client, or who could connect you to the next big client tomorrow, right? So take out time to really, really connect with people, have conversation, and soak in every single thing. Again, from them. Do not just hear them alone, right? Do not just hear them alone. And thank you to my team again, who have been also following up and all of that to also make this a success. Thank you to each and every one of you. If we hosted this event and none of you came, it wouldn't have been a success, but you all were part of it. Thank you so much for making this a success. Thank you so, so much. And remember to use the hashtag Roundtable01 and Freelancer360 on your post, to share the value you've gotten so far. With that, we're going to be able to see it, and we're able to, react to it, and also, do all of we can actually do. We are all rooting for your success. We want you to do the best and keep winning. As I always say at the end of my videos, I'm always rooting for you, always. Thank you so much to everyone that have joined this session. God bless you, and we've come to the end of Roundtable 0.1. Woo! And it's a wrap. Thank you so, so much. Thank you so much. And God bless you. God bless each and every one of you. And have a wonderful month. And happy new month to every one of you. Happy new month. Happy new month. Thank you so, so much. God bless you. What's that? Who is that? Who is that?